sorry for the.
Okay, so we started recording and you're now the host, Amina.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to that workshop about the 5 soul wounds, or the 5 emotional wounds, or the wounds of the soul, depending on where you find it. And I will talk about holistic healing, and I will share about my journey and what I went through. Yes, I even put the slide to not forget, because I knew I would be able to. If you stay until the end, I have some gift for you. I have an ebook, Recharge Your Body, that you will be able to download. And I also have self-assessment, a lifestyle assessment with few questions. And when you answer that, you can see roughly what vitamin or stuff you already may be lacking and how you can improve that. So before I start, I wanted to have a little disclaimer about where I found this information about the wound. It's that lady, Salima Derer. She's French. So if you speak French, feel free to follow her on Instagram and Facebook. Basically, she had a workshop about the emotional wounds in French. And I learned so much, and I saw so many people, and I could identify some of my clients and why they are overweight without even eating anything, or why their body is like that, controlling, like my dad, for example, or something. I understood so much, but I wanted to share that with my audience, which is mainly English speaking. But yes, I wanted to give her the how do you call it, the honor of making me aware of all that, and I didn't know. So feel free to follow her, and she does a great job. So if you just understand French, go and follow her. And I really wanted to share that because it's very important. If you never heal from what hurt you, you will bleed on people who didn't cut you. And I spent all my life bleeding on everyone who never hurt me. And that really resonates with me. So it's why I wanted to share that, and why we are here, because healing is not just you. It will help also the people around you. And some people never hurt you, but the behavior you have with them is because of what you had before, and they don't deserve what you are doing to them sometimes. Before I start, I just want to apologize. As you can hear, I'm French, and I'm sorry if I make mistake. I will talk from my heart, but I also want to say that when I say you, never feel that I'm talking to you personally. Most of you I don't know personally, but still, in French we are used to say you in the meaning of generality. So never feel offended, never feel, oh, she's aggressive or she's talking to me. No, the you is the you in general. So who am I? My name is Amina Karin Kermos. So my French name is Karin. Amina is the name that I took when I reverted to Islam in '95, so long time ago. I will be, in 1 week or 2, I will be 47. And I always say we have 3 ages, one on the paper, we can't really change that, one in our mind, and you are free to pick the one you wish. In my mind, I'm 25, even if I have a son 27, but still I believe, and I want to believe, I'm 25. And I say we have a 3rd age, which is the metabolic age, like the one that my scale gives to people. And generally this one goes with the fat. The more fat you have, the older the scale thinks you are. And you can see my picture, the before and after. Before and after, when I lost 10 kilos. What happened is, I will try to make it in long story short. In 2018, my son became a wellness and nutrition coach. After he lost 26 kilos of fat, he gained 10 kilo muscle. So basically he had great results. He was very shy, so he didn't want to do that as a business at all. But when he had all his results, his coach asked him, would you like to help others? And he was too shy to do that. But when you lose 26 kilos, you don't have to talk to people. People talk to you. And when people talk to him and ask him, oh, what have you done? He was just giving the phone number of these people to his coach. And the coach started to call everyone. And at one point he told him, listen, either you help me coaching them and you get money, either I carry on coaching them and I take the money. So he was thinking, oh, if it's just sharing what I did, actually I can. And that's when he became a coach. So he talked to me because he talked first to people he knew. But for him, I was not really a nice person at the beginning because I just told him I'm not interested in another business. I already have 2 businesses. I design website. I create my own skincare stuff. I have 4 young kids. So no time. My little one was 5 months, and then the older one was 6 at the time. So I had no time. Then he talked about nutrition. And again, I was not interested because first I pressured him, thinking that boy, that same teenager who never wanted to eat veg will tell me now what I should eat. I didn't even believe he could help me with that. I thought I was eating healthy, which actually was the case. I was eating healthy, but I didn't know that healthy is not enough. I was not eating balanced, and I was not feeding my body right. And as you can see, I gained weight. I'm not pregnant on that picture, but I look pregnant. And it was when my daughter was 5 months, and that it's not even the leftovers of the 4 pregnancy. It was a new belly. And it was because I was not eating healthy. I was 42 already. So that's why I told him, listen, I will trust you and let's start something. And after 2-3 days of just rebalancing my food, it was not even a diet because I was not hungry, I was not starving, I was not even exercising at all. But after 2-3 days, almost completely lost my brain fog, my slump in the day, my mood swing. I felt so good that I started to talk to everyone because I love sharing everything I find. I'm paid or not, I would share with everyone. It's why I have a blog about parenting, for example, or things like that. And when I started to share, my son told me at one point, but excuse me, what are you doing? You said you are not interested in my business, but you are doing it for free, because I was actually coaching my friends with their plate and everything. And then I thought, oh, if I love that, and if I could get paid for that, that would be great. And that's why I started. And why we are here today. We all wear a mask. So let me find, sorry, I think there are some stuff missing. Yes, oh yes, because it's a follow-up, and I did, I thought I put the picture of my son and my mom. You will be able to find that in the replay of the first one. When we finish today, I will send the replay of this workshop to everyone, but I will also send the replay of the first edition. And just for everyone to make clear, I forgot to mention, this one is not the follow-up to the first one. It's roughly the same workshop at the first one, but in a little shorter edition and with less technical problem. So you will have my mom and my son in the first recording. So we all wear a mask, sometimes even several masks. And according to Liz Bobo, which is the author of the book, Heal Your Wounds and Find Your True Self, there are 5 major wounds that we face on a daily basis. The wound of rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, and injustice. When one of these injuries is activated, we adopt a mask, that is to say, a behavior that does not really correspond to who we are or what we should do in a normal situation. The masks are visible in the morphology of the person. The body is so intelligent that it always finds a way to let us know where our suffering is and what we need to improve. The body is the only language that does not lie with the look. So the first mask is the fleeing mask. So that's the mask that people adopt when they have the wound of rejection. So rejection is a very, very deep wound because people who suffer from it feel rejected in their being and especially in their right to exist. The origin is an injury experienced with the same-sex parent at the moment of conception, and the age of 1 year, roughly. The morphology of these people, as you can see, this mask is easily recognized by a fleeing physique. That is to say, a body or part of the body which seems to want to disappear or to be made very small, as if the fleeing person seems willing to disappear or to be made very small. They want just to go unnoticed for fear of being rejected. It's a dry, thread-like and contracted body. One has the impression that there is almost no flesh between the skin and the bones. So their behavior. The fleeing person is a person who doubts his right to exist. He seeks solitude because if he received a lot of attention, he would not be afraid. He would be afraid of not knowing what to do. That person prefers not to get attached to material things because they would prevent him from fleeing. He wonders what he is doing on this planet, and he can hardly believe that he would be happy here and bring something to this world. When it gets too much attention, it loses its meaning. So the relationship with others. That person who suffers from rejection is constantly seeking the love of the same-sex parent or transferring his quest to people of the same sex. With the parent of or people of the opposite sex, she will rather tend to reject herself to feel at fault if the other rejected her. They usually speak very little in a group. They are afraid of disturbing and not being interesting. They often live in ambivalence. When they are chosen, they do not believe in themselves and reject themselves to end up sometimes sabotaging the situation which value them. And when they are not selected, they feel rejected by others. Their vocabulary is like non-existent almost. They always say the word non-existent, null, nothing, disappear. So that's how you can recognize these people. And their biggest fear is panic. So rejection wound activates from the moment of conception until the first year of life in relation to a child who felt rejected by a parent of the same sex. As a result, he doesn't believe in his right to exist. The ego's reaction is putting on a withdrawn mask, manifested through dissatisfaction with who you are, assessing yourself as a meaningless person, lack of self-respect, considering yourself of like a family freak, defending yourself by refusal, anxiety, not paying attention to material matters in favor of the world or of intellect, escaping into alcohol, drugs, sudden trips, virtual games. They have rich imagination, taciturn withdrawal, isolation leading to loneliness, anchoring in the material world through a sense of being busy and perfectionism. So ask yourself if you know someone that have this characteristic, and how can you help yourself or someone with that wound of rejection? Forgiving ourselves what we did and giving ourselves the right to make mistakes, recognizing our own qualities and assuming our flaws, assuming our weaknesses and vulnerability, transforming that into a strength, accepting we can't please everyone and that others have the right to not love us, giving ourselves a value, important, and consideration without the fear of arrogance or selfishness, forgiving others their attitude of rejection, forgiving their way of giving themselves important, stop escaping the fear of rejection and tackling in situation of rejection and panic. So if you are in that wound, or if you know someone with that wound, the sentence, the motto you can remember is, do we really need the validation of others to have the right to live? And feel free to put in the chat if you recognize yourself or someone. You don't have to name people. We are not here to like name people, but if you recognize someone in that one, feel free to add that in the chat, and at the end we can have a quick chat of that, about all that. So the second wound is the wound of abandonment, and these people would wear the addict mask. So the wound experience in the case of abandonment is the second deepest after the one of rejection, because they both affect the being. The origin is the injury experienced with the parent of the opposite sex between 1 and 3 years, roughly. The morphology of these people, as you can see, they lack tone, a long, slender body with a rounded, sagging back, as is the spine and muscles were unable to keep the body upright. The addict's body seems to need help holding up. So their behavior. Those who suffer from abandonment do not feel emotionally nourished enough. They are in constant need of help and support. The addict thinks he can't do it all by himself, and he needs someone to support him regularly. He will often have ups and downs. For a while, he is happy and everything is fine, and suddenly he feels unhappy and sad. He is the person who dramatizes a lot. The smallest incident takes on gigantic proportion. In a group, he likes to talk about himself and often brings everything back to him. So their relationship with others. The addict usually requests the opinion or approval of others before deciding. He doesn't make up his mind, or he doubts his decision when he doesn't feel supported by someone else. And when he does something for someone, he does it with the expectation of a return of affection. The addict is the one of the 5 wounds who is most likely to become a victim in the dramatic triangle of Cartman. Her problems brings her the gift of attention, and it keeps her from being abandoned. The more a person acts as a victim, the more the abandonment injury increases. So their vocabulary, you can recognize them because they often say absent, alone, I can't stand, I'm being eaten, I gave up. So this kind of word. And their biggest fear is loneliness. So abandonment won't activate between the 1st and 3rd year of life in a relationship with a parent of the opposite sex due to the lack of parental support on the emotional plane, lack of attentive attention as well. So the ego's reaction, putting on a dependent marks, which manifests itself through problem with independent functioning and fear of loneliness, suffering from sadness without knowing its cause, crying alone, sometimes for long hours, developing the victim's attitude, believing in bad luck, causing dramas, diseases in order to arouse pity for others, merging with others by entering into their emotions and suffering to attract attention. Celebrity behavior, constantly talking about yourself, problems with making decisions, acting independently, picking on others, not listening to the advice of others, changeable moods, problems ending relationships, sinking into itself as a small, scared child in the presence of an angry or aggressive person. So how can you help someone with the wound of abandonment? So we can help ourselves as well. Giving ourselves the right to abandon and accepting being abandoned, forgiving others and ourselves abandonment, giving ourselves attention and not looking for it from others, challenging ourselves, tackling tricky situations, being convinced that we will always be supported whatever the situation, feeling good even if we are alone. So your motto in this case should be, do we really need external support and help to reach our objectives? So that's for the first 2. The third one, before I carry on, if someone can just put me a thumb up to see if you are still hearing me well, everything is fine. If I can have just a thumb up.
Yes, sound is perfect, mashallah.
Okay, great. Okay, because I did hide all the video panel to see all my screen better. So just wanted to not carry on if no one can hear me. Thank you so much. So the third one is the masochist mask, the wound of humiliation. And for me, this one is quite emotional because that's the one where I recognize my mom when Salima was talking about all the wounds. I recognize my mom, who was, as you can see, like overweight, but despite not eating anything. So and I'm glad I learned some sentences that I can say to help them, and I was actually telling the opposite of that. So I didn't even know that I was hurting her even more when I didn't know that she has that wound. And just remember that all the wounds are like basically like your skin. If I put salt on your skin, you wouldn't be hurt, except if you have a wound. If you have a wound, that salt would hurt you a lot. And that's why sometimes in life we can go through some challenges and not others. That's because of the wound that it activates. So This injury is mainly related to the physical world, that of having and doing. So the origin, it awakens during the development of physical body function, eating alone, being clean, going to the bathroom alone, talking, listening, understanding conversation, sexuality, and this kind of thing. It is generally experienced with the mother or with the person in charge of learning the physical and sexual function mentioned above. Morphology, large body, plump, round face, large, bulging neck, bison hump in the upper back. The masochist is, so for the behavior, the masochist is frequently ashamed of himself and others, or afraid of being ashamed. He thinks he is dirty, messy. He does not want to recognize and assume his sensuality as well as his love of the pleasure associated with the senses. That's why he compensates and rewards himself with food. And he grows easily to give himself a reason not to enjoy his senses. He is also afraid of being punished if he enjoys life too much. So that's why he gags his freedom by putting the needs of others before his own, so as not to enjoy life. And yes, my mom put everyone before herself. So that's literally her in a nutshell. Relationship with others. The masochist seems to want to do everything for others. In reality, he wants to create constraints and obligation in order not to enjoy his freedom. It also reinforces this feeling of being abused and humiliated. And in the same way, he tends to lower and humiliate others by making them feel that they cannot do it alone without him. The masochist is often inclined to blame himself for everything and even take the blame for others. Masochistic people are also very sexual. They would often make love if they allow themselves the pleasure of the senses, but very often they don't dare telling their partner about that fear of being ashamed, because they are too ashamed of wanting is so often. Their vocabulary would be dignified, unworthy, small, fat, pig, dirty, that kind of word. And their biggest fear is freedom. Humiliation wounds activate between the first and third year of life, as we said, with the parent who was exulting in all kind of physical and sensual pleasure, causing the same in the child. So the ego's reaction, putting on a masochist mask, manifested by the impression of being constantly observed and embedded, doing everything to be worthy in the eyes of God or those he loves, serving everyone you love, restraint inward, the tendency to justify others, reluctance to admit to your own sensuality, suppressing your sensual drive, fear of punishment for the excessive joy of life, putting the needs of others above your own, feeling often sloppy, dirty, or unworthy, compensate for different need with food. It's easy to get fat then, and the talent for making people laugh, but often by mocking or humiliating himself. So that's the masochist, and how we can help if we have that one. Recognizing how much we were ashamed of ourselves and of others without hiding it, listening to our own needs before helping others, understanding they don't need to take so much space in people's life to be loved, not humiliating them, doing everything for them, not treating them like a child. And this one really hurt me badly, because I was doing everything for my mom, because basically if I asked her to do something, she wouldn't do it the right way. So I was always doing everything for her. So I was like a mom for my mom, and it didn't actually help at all. Realizing how much we belittle ourselves or we make ourselves feel unworthy without valid reasons, recognizing our own value, giving ourselves the right to be worthy of happiness, giving ourselves the right to experience pleasure without feeling guilty, forgiving our others and ourselves in order to love ourselves. And our motto should be, do we really need to please to live? So that's for the masochistic people. If I can find the picture of my mom and share while we chat after, that would be great. You will see, you will really see the transformation she had. Then the controller's mask. So the controller mask is the mask we wear when we had the wound of betrayal. So the controller's wound, betrayal, is intimately linked to the addict's wound, abandonment. While abandonment is about being, betrayal is about having and doing. So the origin lived with the parent of the opposite sex between the age of 2 and 4, at the time when sexual energy developed, generating the Oedipus complex. So the morphology of these people, you can see their body, that's a body that exhibits strength and power. For men, you will see shoulders wider than the lower body. And in women, you will see the lower body wider than the shoulders, pear-shaped body. The greater the asymmetry between the upper and lower body, the greater the betrayal injury is actually. The behavior, they are very uncompromising. The controller wants to show others what he is capable of. He often interrupts and responds before the others party has finished. When things don't go quickly enough for his liking, he experiences anger. He considers himself hardworking and responsible. He has difficulty with laziness. The controller hates to be trusted. It does not always keep his commitment and promises or forces himself to keep them. He is impatient and intolerant. He confides with difficulty and does not show his vulnerability. And relationship with others. The controller has great difficulty in accepting the cowardice of others. He has difficulty delegating tasks while trusting others. And that's me. So you see why I had many problems with my mom, because it was like the two opposite. When I say problem, we get on well, but we never understood each other because of that wound that we didn't know before. Among the 5 wounds, the controlling is the one who has the most expectation of the others, because he likes to foresee and control everything. Unlike the addict, who has expectation of others because he wants to be loved and supported in his abandonment injury, the expectation of the controller are to verify that others are doing what they need to do in order to check if he can trust them. He strongly affirms what he believes and expects others to agree with his belief. He tends to assert his point of view categorically and seeks at all costs to convince others. He thinks that when someone understands him, he agrees with it, and which unfortunately is not always the case. So their vocabulary, you will recognize this kind of people because they often say, I am capable, let me do it alone, trust me. You know, the trust me resonate with me a lot, because even the name Amina I took in Arabic means reliable, and I used to lie a lot as a child, and I wanted really to be trust. And my mom was trusting me a lot, so I didn't do mistakes to not betray her, but my dad didn't trust me at all, so I wanted to show him he was right to not trust me because I was a rebel. But with my mom, and so yes, the trust me is a big one for me. Oh, I don't trust him, did you understand? So that's the sentence. When you see people saying that, you might think, oh, they have that wound. And their greater fear is disengagement, separation, dissociation, denial. So as a summary, that wound is will occur between the 2nd and 4th year of age in life with the parent of opposite sex, due to parents' attention not adequate to the child expectation, and also a loss of trust in a parent due to unfulfilled promises, lies, or sign of weakness. And the ego reaction, putting on a controlling mask by imposing your will and point of view on others, no contact with your own sensitivity, demonstrating your own strength, a constant need to improve, striving for honors, title, the need to be special and important, attaching importance to reputation, lack of tolerance for the lies of others, but lying alone, high expectation of others, applying rigor, manipulation, and control. And you see, they control so much that even their body is under control, we can say. And how can you help them? Or help ourselves? Acknowledging our wound, accepting it, and forgiving ourselves and others, being in peace with authority, we could just by this authority. I remember as a child, everyone in my town, after I reverted to Islam, they told me, oh, if someone told us someone would accept to submit to a God, to pray 5 times a day, to wake up in the morning, we would have put you at the last person of the list. You obeying someone, never. And you see, you never say never. Recognizing that we sometimes are unfair and allowing us to be so, allowing ourselves to make mistakes and being indulgent toward ourselves and others, allowing ourselves to have and express emotions and feelings. And our motto should be, do we really need to be perfect to give ourselves the right to enjoy life and pleasure? I think I missed one. Sorry, the controller. And yes, in this, because I deleted some slides, maybe they are hidden. I'm not sure. I think you are are you the host, Yasmin?
No, you're the host, Amina.
Okay, swing share has stopped. As the shared window is closed. Okay, that's why. Okay, yes, let me find the, so I will need to share my screen again then. Share screen. Yes, share. Oh, I deleted so much, but I deleted another one then. I need to, so sorry, I need to open that file with the 5th wand. So the PowerPoint, this one. Yes, so that's this one. So I don't think I'm showing the one I'm talking about. What screen do you see? Do you still see the screen of before?
Yes, the summary.
Okay, so I need to share that one then. The screen here, it's yes, that one. So now, yes, sorry. So in this slide, yes, I did share some pictures of me as a child, and I didn't even comment on that today. Yes, and yes, the 5th one will be there. Yes, we are at the last one. So that's the rigid mask. And when you have, when you suffer from the wound of injustice, you would wear the rigid. What is rigid? You can see even in their body, they are quite like rigid in their body. And this one is intimately linked to the injury of fleeing the person, of a fleeing person, rejection. While rejection touches deeply on being, the wound of injustice touches on having and doing. So the origin is experienced with the same-sex parent between the age of about 4 and 6, when the child becomes aware that he is himself a separate entity with its differences. So the morphology, as you can see, is quite straight, rigid body, and as perfect as possible. Well proportioned, small size, tainted by a garment or a belt, rigid movement, stiff neck, and white of pride. So their behavior, the rigid is a living person with a dynamic movement, but who are rigid and lack flexibility. He is a perfectionist and unbiased. He will cut himself off from his feeling and often crosses his arm. He seeks to be perfect and justifies himself very much. He finds it difficult to admit that he is having problems. He often doubts his own choice. He likes order and tends to control himself by demanding a lot from himself. He can be short-tempered and cold and has trouble showing affection. The rigid does not like being late, but he will often be because it takes a lot of time to prepare to be perfect, actually. Yeah. Oh, wait. Sorry. And he will himself miss the point because he tends to exaggerate things by using the word never always very relationship with others. When he is moved, the widget does not want to show it, but we can see it in his tone of voice, which becomes dry and stiff. The widget likes that those who open it are aware of everything he has done and all that is involved. Unlike the controller who acts in the same way to show that he is responsible, the widget acts thus to prove that he deserves a reward. The widget finds it difficult to receive gifts because he often feels indebted after. The vocabulary would be no problem, always, never, very good, widely, exactly, agree, and their biggest fear is coldness. So that one would occur, as we said, between the age of 4 and 6 in relation to a same-sex parent in children who have experienced parental dryness. The ego's reaction is putting on a harsh mask manifested by showing your vitality despite being tired. Difficulties, I can recognize most of the moms here, difficulties in admitting to experiences problem. Constant optimism, controlling yourself to always be perfect, fear of losing control, unaware of your own injustice toward others, problem showing feelings, problem creating a satisfying intimate relationship, very high demands on your body, such as not acknowledging your illness, great acceptance of pain and cold, auto-temper, a tendency to criticize others and yourself, and putting skills above feeling. And also this one resonates a lot with myself when we said not acknowledging your own illness, because as last time I had a conversation with Sana about when I had my cyst, and generally ladies, when they have a cyst, the doctor, they would have the pain when the cyst is roughly like a tennis ball. Mine was like a pomelo. I didn't have any pain. And even the appendicit, I don't know the name, how do you pronounce that in English? But this one, I didn't even have the pain. I pretended to have pain in the belly because I didn't want to school, because they were skiing that day. And because I was pretending to be sick, I finally had stomach ache, and then they discovered I had that. So you see how the wound would impact your body so much. Yeah, and like as a recap, and feel free to put in the chat if you recognize someone or something, that would be great. So what are the wounds? So if you have the wound of rejection.
One minute, Amina, go back a slide. How do we help the person who has experienced the
oh, sorry, yes, I forgot this one. Oh, sorry, thank you. Yes, how we can help this one? Acknowledging our own wound, accepting it and forgiving ourselves and others, being in peace with authority, recognizing that we sometimes are unfair and allowing us to be so, allowing ourselves to make mistakes and being indulgent towards ourselves and others. And just before we started that call, we said with Yasmin, okay, done is better than perfect. But before I would say better, perfect or not done. And now I changed my mind about that. Yeah, allowing ourselves to have and express emotions and feelings. And our motto should be: do we really need to be perfect to give ourselves the right to enjoy life and pleasure? So that's a little of a recap. So if you had the rejection of the wound of rejection, you might be wearing the receding mask. Your biggest fear would be the panic, and these people would like convince themselves that they care for himself and others, and not to feel the rejection lived. The wound of abandonment would wear the mask of dependent, and their biggest fear is solitude. And he likes to do freelance, likes to say that he feels good alone and does not need anyone. If you had wound of humiliation, you might be wearing the masochistic mask, and your biggest fear is freedom. And in this case, you would convince yourself that everything you do for others make you happy, and listen to your needs by doing so. If you have the wound of treason or betrayal, your mask is the controlling one, and your fear is denial. And that person would convince himself that he never lies, that he always keeps his word, promises, and that no one scares him. And if you have a wound of injustice, you wear the mask of the rigid, your fear is coldness. And you like to say how good you are, that your life is no problem, and how many friends love you as you are. So that's a recap of all the wounds. And just want to explain how do the wounds get activated. Every day you go from one wound to another, depending on the circumstances and people around you. The wound can be activated by somebody's attitude or behavior towards you. It could be also activated by your attitude towards someone else. And you can also activate it yourself, but by your attitude toward yourself. And how can you heal? You must become aware of the wound, accept it, observe your wound instead of letting the ego mask dominate, accept the thought that the fear is guided by your ego affects by your perception of reality and reactions in a given situation, and watch the pain and let yourself be only human. And with that part, when we talk with Yasmin after, you will see that mindfulness is really, really helping that part. How you can do for helping yourself with all that. So rejection, feel good in your skin, even though someone forgets about your existence. Abandonment, feel good even though you are alone and do not seek someone's attention. Humiliation, ask without feeling disturbed, check your needs before you commit yourself to others. Betrayal, feel proud of your achievements, although no one else appreciates it. Don't get attached to results and don't want to be in the spotlight. Injustice, allow yourself to be less perfect, indulge in sensitivity, anger without guilt, and fear of judgment. To recognize your wound, it is also helpful to remember that we do not accept in others what we do not want to see in ourselves. We do so for fear of change. So that's why we always try to change the people around us. Meanwhile, nobody in your life is to meet your expectation. They come from a lack of self-love. You should also forgive those who have activated this wound in you. Tie it to your parent, forgive him and yourself for having it. And again, if you never heal from what hurt you, you will bleed on people who didn't cut you. So now I want to come back to my previous slide because I did change some few things. So I prefer having the white slides. It will be this one. So I need to share again. Share screen. It will be the follow-up. Yes. And yes, so this is a recap of all the body shape. Feel free to unmute if you want to talk, or put in the chat maybe what have you learned? Did you recognize yourself in one of few ones? Have you recognized someone you know? Have you learned how you can help someone? Yes, I will go.
Amina, there was a lovely question from Amina Osman, and she says, I recognize a bit of myself in a couple of these, but I wonder how much of our body shape can we attribute to genetics and how much, is actually a soul wound. I might just, sort of look like my ancestors look in one way, but experience a soul wound that would potentially make me look another way.
Yes, basically, yes, there are some stuff are genetic, that's true. But yes, and you see, for example, two siblings, even like twins, even similar, like twins, for example, they would have the same genetic, but why one would be more overweight or one would be more controlling body or like completely disappearing? Because they might have experienced different things, or sometimes they experience the same events, but the way they received it might be different. For example, if I take two siblings that have taken away from their parents and put in a foster family, one would see that as a betrayal, and another one you would see that as an abandonment. And depending on how they feel, their body will react to that. So, so that's why, yes, we need to know this wound And of course, if you eat junk all day, you will be overweight, whatever wound you have. But you might be even more depending on your wounds. And that's good to recognize that and to see when I said what you can do to help. So if you have a wound of people who always need confirmation or help, or they can't be alone or something, learn to love yourself even when you are alone, to do more stuff by yourself. And little by little, we can change. I've been very controlling, and I didn't accept that someone can think in another way. How can you dare thinking in another way? Whatever it is, religion, politics, education, whatever. If I think like that, it must be the right. And even myself, I changed my mind many times. So, so that's how we can help ourselves with that. Yes, and yes, genetic will have an impact, but the wound you have will help you or put you down in depending on what event you have been through in your life. I'm trying to go up to all the comments because I haven't watched at all any of them.
Yeah, there was another one, Amina.
Yeah.
I think it was Ziba. She said, like, can we have more than one of these wounds?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it was in the slides that I removed, because I remember last time, but I said yes, we generally have more than one, but there is one that is
more prominent
than the others, dominant on the others. But personally, I recognize myself in the last two, and I think if I learned about all that maybe 3-4 years ago, I would say I would be only the fourth one and the main one. But now I can see the fourth one, but much less. You see, because I try to work on myself, so it did change as well with time.
Okay, Sabah will explain afterwards how you can get in contact with us. Okay, and
yes.
also another sister asked, I think it was Zebra again, like how can we heal the people whom we have bled upon, basically. That was Omar Sadar. That's where I come in. So yeah, just hold tight, and I'll be sharing my presentation very soon on how we can heal ourselves and others and move on, inshallah.
Yes, and even at the end, I will look back again at all the questions, because during I think I saw some questions that actually will have the answers after Yasmin and Sana will be talking. Yeah, so I want just to share my screen from there.
Yes, and sorry, and Sumaya as well. How to keep, how to keep away our kids from these wounds. Yeah, this is really important. We need to break the chains of generational behavior, which we do that with working skillfully with our minds, and I will go deeper on that as well, inshallah.
Yes, yeah, and that's very important to break the chain. I didn't want to go too personal on that presentation, but because I didn't heal before I had my son, who is now 27, I literally did everything I hated, and my son went through 2 cancers last year. So I could see that I started to have parenting classes when I had my two of a boy and girl after, and I realized all the mistake I made with the first one. But when I went to these parenting classes, my son was already maybe 20, 22 at that time, so it was too late for him, we can say. And I really want to change for the others. And I will actually, with this wound, I can recognize that wound in the girls. They look very similar physically, but one is very shy and the other one is very outgoing. And we can help them. Obviously, someone who is naturally shy will probably stay shy, but they can still manage their shyness and do something out of that, and we can help them gain confidence. But yes, that's very, very important. And I did, when we talked about the generational, there is a picture that I did remove, but maybe I should share it again, actually. Yes, where it is. It's.
And Tayyiba, she would like to ask a question. Tayyiba, feel free to just unmute yourself, darling.
Yeah.
Hi, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah, it's a couple of linked questions actually. So it's like, are these the only wounds and only masks that we have? And
No.
number two is, you say once you've recognized it and you heal from it, but then whilst you were talking about yourself, Amina, you were saying that I am this. So it's like, even when you heal from it, are you still that, but you just learn how to deal with it?
It means you had that one, but it's like, you know, when you have a flu and you cure it, you had a flu. You can't deny that you had it. So it's in your body from the past, but it's not. It doesn't define your personality anymore. That's what I want to say. It's even like whatever. Some people have the wound so deep that define their personality. They can't be something else. And others, they know they have that, but despite having that, they try to live a life. And so don't let your wound define you. And yes, you can heal from that, but obviously you will still have, I think, some scar or some kind of scar, invisible scar, yes.
So to me, that resonates, very similarly to PTSD. So it's like you can never cure from PTSD, but you can still heal. But every now and again, it might come back. But it's about mastering it, learning how to deal with it rather than telling it to go away.
Yes, exactly. Yes, because you can't delete your memory. But even with the work, I will my journey. I will share after about the journey, like body, mind, soul. Because of that journey that I've been through, I can think of very, very hard events of my life without crying, without being emotional. It's still a memory. I still have that as a souvenir. But when I talk about it, I don't feel my body like dreaming it of living that wound or like that event again physically. I'm not living it physically again when I'm talking about it. It's like I did cut something about it. And I did release, with the help of Sana, I did release some emotions. So now when something triggers what would have been a big, big trigger like a few years before, is not that big trigger, because I can see now the wolf coming, and I know how to protect myself, and I released that,
Yeah, I think it does all boil down to self-acceptance and self-compassion. I think,
yes.
that would be the solution.
Yeah.
And can you see the picture on the screen with the black sheep? There is no black sheep, but the white body around the general. Can you see the picture? No.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes. I did remove for today. I removed it because I wanted to make it shorter. But actually, with what we are saying, that's exactly that. You see, the black sheep of the family is the one who becomes the self-healer, breaks their generational curses, guilt, shame, heals their ancestral spirits, and start their own lineage. And I really see myself like that, because my dad didn't heal. My mom is kind of healing some part, but not everything. And I see myself like that, but it's hard. It's hard to go to do that, and we have to ask ourselves if we are ready for that, if we want to do that. But yes, it's hard to go through that. Yeah. So let me share the new slide, so we will soon move
Okay.
to the west. Yeah.
Sorry, Amina, there was another question.
Yeah,
there's another question. So does the wound means the factor we feel, like is that we feel the way we feel, like rejection means in previous we always been rejected, and that's why we act like that?
It does impact the yes, people who have how can I say that? For example, if your boyfriend happened to me, I have bad luck, and it will happen like that because of your wound. The way you will react to that event will be a condition of basically of your wound. Your wound will decide the how you will react to things, and we can't change everything, but we can be more aware. And there was one wonder when we said we don't like to be abandoned or left alone or something. And some people, they prefer being with someone very abusive, than being free alone, because they are so scared of freedom that they would prefer to stay with someone very narcissistic, for example, or even abusive physically, but because they know that, and at least they have someone. But for someone else, that wouldn't be acceptable, and they prefer being alone than not being respected. And why one is like that and one is in the other way would be because of their past and their want. Yes. Yeah. And someone asked if there are other wounds. When I was doing that preparation, I actually found that some articles say five, like this one, and 7 or 8 wounds. But when I checked properly the 7 or 8, basically from 5 to 8, the wounds that are on top of that are generally a mix of wounds. But the main ones are there, yes. Mm. So I didn't want to make something too exhaustive, because I think we would need like 3 days, full day workshop to do that. I think we would need 1 day per wound to go through everything. So I just wanted to give this overview to everyone, like I had when I had the workshop with Salima. It was a 3 hours workshop actually, but I did my own research after to learn more, and I did buy a book from Lise Bourbeau, which is Stop or Control in French, Stop to Control, about it was about food. How people try to control so much their food, and how controlling too much may make them actually gain weight. And then they are even more depressed because they don't even enjoy whatever they love, but still they gain weight. So that's even more frustrating. And that's what I try to help with in my coaching generally. So now I wanted to ask if are we ready to take off our mask and heal? And that's where I wanted to share my journey. I shared some, so I will make it quite short. So basically, just remember that body, mind, and soul are very, very interconnected to each other. You can't like cure or heal one part. If the other two have something in trouble, you can't ignore that. You can for a little while, which I did for all my life almost, but after a point, you will have to deal with it. And they are very, very connected to each other. And that's why I found that figures. The first and easy step to change is the body. That's the easiest one, because it doesn't involve like suffer or something. It's quite easy to control what we put in our mouth or not, but it's very, very necessary to move on. We can't have a clear mind with like a dirty gut or cluttered gut, basically. And that's where I help people, and that's what I did first on myself, my body, and that's what I do now when in my coaching, nutrition. So today I will not talk about how I help people with their nutrition. That's not the goal of today. But my coaching is like wellness and nutrition coaching. So nutrition, hormones, both are very linked together, and exercise. But don't worry, not too much, because I'm not a fan of sport. But yes, when you eat better and you rebalance your hormones, you have so much energy that actually you will have to exercise. You can't even escape that. I will talk briefly about gut and brain, because the brain will have a big influence on motility, secretion, nutrient delivery, microbial balance, and the gut will have influence on neurotransmitters, stress, anxiety, mood, behavior. So I will not go into the detail of all these figures. I just wanted to show you from the spinal cord and the brain all the nerves that go to your gut. And you see that nerve is from the stomach directly to the brain. And what really shocked me when I did that work is about the hormones of happiness. We have 4 main ones, and one is the dopamine. And just remember that dopamine is produced 50% by your brain and 50% by your gut. So obviously, if you ate junk, half of this hormone will be in a bad state. And the most shocking information is the last one, serotonin, which is another hormone of happiness, is only produced 5% in your brain. 95% is produced in your belly. Have you tried to eat very nicely, very healthy, and then go all over the place for 2-3 days, 1 week? How do you feel? I did that. I started my program in 2018, and since 2018, I had 2 episodes of going all over the place. I think it was my wound maybe was reactivated. I started to rebel myself. Oh, why should I eat always that kind of thing? I wanted to follow only my instinct on what I really wanted. So I ate not that much of junk or fried. It was more of carbs a lot and sugar a lot. But I've done that 2 times from Wednesday to Friday. I don't know why. Very naughty, all the Wednesday, all the Thursday, and the 2 times, the Friday, almost I wanted to commit suicide. Honestly, the idea did go through my mind. And I was shocked that I even thought about that, because if you check my life on the Friday, and on the Tuesday before, there was nothing more. I didn't argue with my husband. There was no more money problem or like house, or nothing. Was the only difference between that Friday and that Tuesday was my food. It was the only difference. And I felt so bad inside that it reminded me how bad I felt when I was in France, when I was about to commit suicide so many times when my son was a child. And I thought, oh, wow, if I did know how to eat good at that time, maybe I would have gone into depression less deeper, less longer, and I would have gone up maybe quicker. So that's why I wanted to share that. And here are the pictures of like me, my son who lost 26 kilos, and my mom, who was like, you see the overweight person who was like, who wants to make people laugh at her or something like that. It's her. I never saw her eyes open before, like now. So she literally lost weight. My son coached her. I can't take the benefit of that. It's not my effort, it's his effort. When she started to lose weight, around the end of losing weight, she lost her toxic mom. And for me, it's like she lost twice the weight, the physical one and then the other one. So now she can literally fly and be herself. So that's nice to see that. I just wanted to share a few testimonials about people I helped. Some messages that I received. Salam Amina, I'm so happy to let you know that my dress size is now 16, 18. Actually, it's now 14. That message is last year, or even it was last year, and now she's around the size 40. And my weight is 88. Actually, is now 77. I need to even update that. I was 24, 26 when I started my program with you, and my weight was over 110. I don't have the actual figure because she didn't even want to weigh herself when she started. I feel proud and grateful that Allah gave me the tools. I have been type 1 diabetic since 30 years. I used to take 2 types of insulin 4 times a day, but now reduced to only once a day. Thank you so much. And she was 64 when she sent me that message. Then I have Nadia in South Africa. I can't believe I have lost 82 centimeters in only 7 weeks without being hungry or moody. The best thing for me is that I don't need my night machine for my sleep apnea anymore. My niece even told me, oh, you don't fall asleep in the middle of a conversation anymore, auntie. The stairs at work seems so easy now, feeling great again. And you can see, like, I just circled that she lost 14 centimeters just on the waist. And the neck as well. So the sleep apnea was much better. And then I have this one. What did I do? I can't read the beginning of that because of Zoom. The bar. Yes, I've struggled with my weight and health issue with my whole life. I have spent countless years frustrated, running myself into the ground, exercising and dieting without sustainable result. Eventually feeling drained, stressed, and blaming myself. I worked with so many coaches and professional trainers, but it would always only get me so far. It was only when I met Amina that I found out why. And best of all, it really wasn't my fault. Amina takes the time to truly understand her client inside out because she knows that it's all relevant. It's her sincere desire to help which allows her to provide the knowledge and support it takes to get permanent result. She cares, and it really clear, so clear when you see the difference in the service she offers. I'm so glad I met her and joined this program. It doesn't have to be hard. My life is better in ways that I couldn't imagine. Thank you so much, Amina, Rima from UK. Just to say, all these ladies gave me this testimonial quite long ago. It was before I discovered the wound, so now I can even help more on the psychological side and counseling side. And when they talk about program, it was just the nutrition hormones program. It was not the program we will talk about today that will even add the mind, the spirit, and the soul after. So that's what I wanted just to add. So after you fixed your body, we can say, you can go to the mind. Because once the gut is clear, the brain receives accurate messages and it will trigger the right hormones. Time to learn how to control direct emotion and stop suppressing them. That's when we will hear about Yasmin. Yasmin, feel free to introduce yourself and tell us how you can help.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, sorry, Mina, there was another question.
Yes.
Can a person be a part of every body type? Some of them are quite contrasting, so I would say yes, but no, not really.
Yes, and I remember Salima also saying, some days you will be that one, you will be that person, and some other days, or depending on the people you will be with that day, they might activate your other ones. So you are not only one wound and one person. So your environment and the people and everything might resonate more with that personality that day, with that one another day, depending on maybe also what wound have these other people and how interact with you as well.
Okay, do you want to hand over to me, the host, Amina?
Oh yes, sorry.
And I can share my screen.
So if you can mute yourself, people, please.
I need you, dear.
I need to mute. Yes.
Stay with us, Samaya, and we're going to explain a really amazing opportunity that me, Amina, and Sana, that we've collaborated on to help sisters. So stay until the end, and we're going to explain this amazing program that we've put together, inshallah.
Sorry, I need to run the participant. Yes, Yasmin, you are here more, and make host. Yes, so you.
Okay.
Yes, so you are now the host, and I don't know what screen you see, everyone. Maybe I need to stop share, I think. Yeah.
Okay, let me. 1 second, I just need to put something else on my screen earlier. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, so you can see my screen. Okay, and okay, so Assalamu alaikum and welcome to all you amazing, strong women, honestly, and I really respect you and acknowledge you for, turning up today and asking all your wonderful questions. So I'm Yasmin Jandel. I'm a mindfulness life coach and meditation facilitator. I'm 53 years old. I got 4 wonderful children and even 2 grandchildren. Growing up, I was a very self-confident, career-minded go-getter, honestly. And so at the age of 24, I was the youngest female factory owner in London, and I was supplying high street stores like Next, Etam, BHS, and I loved it. But then shortly after getting married, I accepted the challenges of being married and having kids. But due to sort of, problems in my marriage and the amount of expectations I put on myself, I really did begin to struggle. I was really stressed out, anxious. I began to feel like really resentful, living on the edge. And, because of certain toxic people in my life, I really lost my confidence. I lost my self-worth. I felt really lonely and unvalued. And this is my journey and how I got my confidence back and my self-worth. And so I'm going to share with you what really helped me in my healing journey. Okay. So before we actually start, I would love to invite you just to take a couple of deep breaths and, just allow yourself to be, there's a lot of information that we took in, Amina, she shared, alhamdulillah. So let's just take some deep breaths and get grounded into this present moment. So if you could just sit up straight, in a like dignified manner, and just lengthen the space under your ribs, and inhale slowly, deeply. Inhale through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. Just pushing out the last drops of air. Okay, and do this in your own time. So inhale and hold and exhale slowly. Okay, we'll do that one more time. Just allow your shoulders to relax, allow your hands to be relaxed. So inhale slowly, just notice the sensations of the air as it goes through your nose, on the back of your throat. And just notice how your chest falls again as you exhale. Okay. So looking back, and I hope you feel so much better now, alhamdulillah, just feeling a lot more calmer and present. And so looking back, I do see that I did set too many high expectations for myself. And I think as women, we all do that. We deeply yearned for everything to be right and to please the people around us. But, there is a cost to pay, mostly to ourselves and our moods, our characters, our relationships, our health. There's a price to pay. Right. But I knew that I couldn't carry on like this. Right. And I prayed so much and I begged God to make a way for me. And a friend of mine was actually hosting a self-development program. And I was so scared to sign up because I knew it would make me change. I didn't know how, because I didn't know what that change sort of looked like. But I just knew it would, rock the boat, ruffle some feathers. So I was a little bit scared, but I knew I had to take this opportunity to find my true self. So after completing, the course with this sister, it was a turning point, but still I had major issues dealing with my emotions. I was still like on edge and very defensive. And I had so many negative thoughts and resentment and still too much chatter in my mind. And then what happened while I was home educating my children about 4 years ago, my youngest two sons, because we were living abroad, I signed up for a TEFL course, so to teach English as a foreign language. And it came with 2 mindfulness courses. Okay, I was very skeptical at first because, we tend to, associate it. I mean, I associated it with Buddhism and Hinduism and, hippies and all that sort of thing. So I really came to it with an open mind and an open heart. And so I started, going through this online self-paced course, and I followed it by the T because that's what I do. And I started practicing the techniques daily, subhanAllah. And this is when my life really began to change. And, like I say, look, the past, it's not going to get any better, right? But the future has potential. And I began to feel so calm and at peace. I became more resilient to negative comments and things outside of my control. And this helped me, to become like mentally strong again. And, I gained my confidence and I became really composed. So even saying that, I can feel my shoulders going back. So, my whole life changed. And as I became more aware of my thoughts and emotions, I was able to skillfully change my narrative and tell myself a different, better, more positive reality. So, I studied as much as I could about mindfulness and meditation. And this has led me on to this amazing journey that I'm now on. And this is what I share with ladies, all over the world. And as well, I knew so many women that were struggling with different issues regarding self-limiting beliefs, self-confidence, and overthinking. And, what I discovered really is our struggles and our suffering, they mainly stem from what we're telling ourselves. Okay. And then that impacts our actions and behaviors. And of course, the results. And, this affects our mental and physical well-being, performance, focus, relationships, and as well how we see our future and opportunities and spirituality. And most importantly, the things that really matter to us, our connection with the things that really matter to us. So mindfulness and meditation, right, they played a huge part in my healing journey. And I share these tools and techniques with women all over the world. And I help really to like reduce stress, anxiety, overthinking, overreacting, and feelings of overwhelm. So my specialty actually is guiding and supporting women who've experienced or are still experiencing challenging relationships. Like I help them to break, the chains of generational behavior so that we're not passing them on to our children. However, no matter what your present situation is, I can help you to connect you with your inner self, your intuition, and your deepest wisdom so that you can gain confidence, compassion, and composure, allowing you to live a happier, more fulfilling life, inshallah. The quality of our thoughts affects the quality of our life. So our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, they precede our actions and behaviors. And this, the stress of all of this, what we've been through, what we're carrying around with us, this has a huge impact on our immune system, our digestive system, our reproductive system, our brain function. Like stress is really, it's a disease that impacts us and it impacts the people around us as well. And the thing is, like by becoming more self-aware of our inner experience and our outer environment, we can place a pause between the stimulus and reaction or the sensations that we're feeling. And instead of responding in a habitual way, which can often be quite damaging, right, we can respond in a wiser, healthier manner. So just very quickly, like what is mindfulness? Okay, so mindfulness-based stress reduction was first introduced to the West by an American scientist, Professor Jon Kabat-Zinn. And I think the most popular definition is that mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, with curiosity and compassion, non-judgmentally. Okay, there's many more definitions, and really it's about noticing when you've got caught up in your mind's story. It's about what we're telling ourselves. So mindfulness meditation, they're not particularly religious practices, but they really do allow you to, connect with your soul and your creator. Because when you're connected to yourself, you will be connected with your creator. You cannot be disconnected from your creator and be connected with yourself. So it really is hand in hand. When you're connected to yourself, you will have you will taste the sweetness of faith that really only comes when you're fully aware and present. So it's really like mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. But what's important, okay, in order to understand mindfulness, okay, we need to explore the meaning of being mindless, which is the opposite of mindfulness. So people whose actions are mindless have habitual reactions to thoughts and feelings, which are based on past experiences and emotional schemas. So being mindless is like being on autopilot, where a person is unaware and sometimes reacts without thinking. So often being mindless is interpreted as being thoughtless or impulsive, and, even reactive. And often, our actions are preemptive and judgment is made before the experience even takes place. So the mindless experience can often mean that we are unaware of the world around us. We're unaware of ourselves, our surroundings, and we get caught up in thoughts and feelings like regrets from the past or worrying about the future, which take up a lot of energy and can actually, as you probably know, can be, exhausting, negatively impacting our health and relationships, our academic achievements. So mindfulness can help you to become more aware of these thoughts and feelings and help you to observe them and be curious about them, accept them, and let go, which allows you to move forward in your life. Okay, so why would we want to practice mindfulness? So if you have your workbook, this is a good opportunity to just do the short activity that I've planned. So, it's really important that we have these skills. So I'm going to read out these skills. And I want you just to rate them on a scale of 0 to 10. So 0 is that it's not, this skill is not important to you. And giving it a score of 10 would mean that it's something that's very important to you. Okay, so the first one is reduces self-judgment and self-criticism, allowing you to move forward in your life with confidence, compassion, and wisdom. Okay, so just rate how important that would be for you on a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, and the second one, it decreases stress and anxiety, thus increasing immune function and mental and physical well-being. Like when we're stressed, and you can see that stressed people are normally ill people, and because it takes such a toll on our bodies. So the third one is it actually lowers the volume of past traumas and events, allowing you to move forward and experience life with more joy and happiness. Okay, so just have a think about that. So it also helps, it controls overthinking and feelings of regret, guilt, shame, and overwhelm, allowing you to feel calmer and well-grounded. Yeah, so it's not about, us controlling our thoughts and emotions, because we need our thoughts and emotions. Thoughts, our brain is just doing what our brain should do. But the emotions, it's about them not controlling us, right? That's what we want to achieve. So, and also it helps you to become more resilient to life's ups and downs and things outside of our control, allowing us to bounce back quicker from unpleasant situations. And again, it's important to understand that mindfulness meditation, it doesn't take our problems away, but what it does do, it helps us to see things in a different light. It gives you a different perspective. And also, it can improve our sleep. So you wake up feeling less irritable and more energized, ready to start your day. Now, who doesn't want to feel more energized? And, what with eating more healthier, a balanced diet, we can really expect to feel a lot more energized. So if you go to the second page, so it can also help increase focus, memory, and learning, allowing you to achieve your short-term and long-term academic goals. Okay, so how important would that be for you? It also improves listening skills, and this is very powerful. Okay, so this really improves, and strengthens our relationships and also our focus. It can, help to develop a stronger, more meaningful connection with the people and things that really matter in your life. It increases gratitude, allowing you to really appreciate and thank God for the endless blessings that He has bestowed upon you. And it also is really great as well, because it allows you to, to put that space, a pause. It helps you to control urges, impulses, overreacting, with certain, and also it helps with certain eating disorders, anger issues, as well as even, the urge to keep checking your phone. And I think absolutely beautiful. It also encourages forgiveness, kindness, compassion, and purification of the heart. And these rewards, for the rewards for upholding these values are so great. You just feel so much better. And lastly, we can teach these skills to our children. And there was a huge study done by Harvard University that they followed people. They followed over 1,000 people for 32 years. And the only question was, what makes people successful? And by successful, it meant, loving relationships, financial stability, good health. And they were really surprised, because it was nothing to do with their background, their IQ, their, academic achievements. It was all about emotional regulation. So I found that really amazing. So there's so many reasons why we would, practice mindfulness, and I've really benefited so much from them. It's absolutely amazing, and my clients as well. And I'm going to share a few testimonials with you. We all have the capacity to change, right? It takes time and patience, but if you want your outside world to change, you must first change what is in the inside. Yeah, the power is in the thought. And, this is where growth happens. That's where the transformation happens, when we allow ourselves to pause and to respond in a wise, healthier way. There is a huge amount of scientific evidence as well regarding the research done on mindfulness meditation and the effects that it has on the physical structure of the brain over time, and even down to a cellular level. There are numerous studies that have proved the effectiveness of an 8-week meditation program for reducing stress and anxiety and increasing productivity, happiness and resilience, improving sleep, mental and physical health, emotional regulation, memory, creativity. And, you know, I know for me, I need some sort of, I need to understand the science behind something, because you don't actually feel that anything is happening, but on a deeper level, there is, you know, this science behind it, and it's so many changes are happening to the structure of your brain, your cells, and by understanding the science behind it, I think, you know, it helped me anyway to remain committed and to achieve better, quicker, longer lasting results. And, you know, like we sort of mentioned before, we do want to break the chains of generational behaviors. And, you know, this really connects with what Amina was saying, what she was sharing with us, you know, about having a proper, healthy, balanced diet, and as well, like retraining your mind to cultivate a more skillful way of working with it. Yeah, and it can have such a profound impact on all areas of your life. Last time, I don't want to keep you too long. Last time, I'm just going to share one sort of case study with you of siblings that one sibling wanted to heal from her childhood traumas, and the other sibling didn't want to. So one wanted to heal and the other one didn't want to heal. And so the one that didn't want to heal was very much had the attitude, you know, my mum was like this, her mum was like this, and I will carry on being like this. I can't change. And the other one would, you know, would just beg his sibling to, you know, just sort of say, look, stop beating your kids. You didn't like it. You didn't like being humiliated. Like, just stop it. And she would just say, no, I can't. But the one that did heal, you know, sometimes he has a tear in his eye when he remembers his childhood, but he's so much more calm, well-grounded, you know, forgiving, and a lot more compassionate, you know, to his parents. Alhamdulillah. So, you know, we do have the choice to heal, and it is very possible. Alhamdulillah. So I just want to share a couple of testimonials with you of my previous clients. This is the story of Nafisa. She was married for like 18 years, Allah barik. Absolutely, you know, she loved her husband. They didn't have any problems, but after 18 years, he just got up and walked out because of issues that he had from his childhood. Something happened to him when he was a child and he hadn't healed, and he felt that he was unworthy of love. But this, you know, this was so traumatic for her. It really was. So, you know, she came to me and we worked together one-on-one. And, you know, she says, I started accepting the changes that have taken place in my life, and I enjoy what I have. Alhamdulillah. This program has taught me to slow down and be still wherever I need to be. As a result of Yasmin's coaching, I have been able to acknowledge my pain and grief. I am able to acknowledge, assess, and then let go. I feel less hopeless now. And when I'm feeling negative thoughts or upsetting emotions creeping in, I just try to be still. I scan my bodily sensations, thoughts, emotions, and my environment. And these are all the skills that I taught her. And she says these skills really help me to, you know, to be in control of what I want to focus on. And she goes on to say, I really would recommend this coaching program for anyone who is emotionally broken. It will really help you to pull yourself together. And this, another client I had a couple of years ago, she was my youngest client. She was only 17 at the time, really experienced toxic relationship in the family, which, you know, humiliation, physical abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse. And she was really at her rock bottom. She really was. Her older sister reached out to me in absolute tears. And she said, you've got to help my sister, Auntie, please. She doesn't want to get dressed. She doesn't want to get up. She doesn't want to shower. She doesn't want to study. And so I actually had them both on my program. Alhamdulillah, the transformation that they made is absolutely amazing. And, you know, the younger one especially was very, very committed. And, you know, when she phoned me last year, she shared with me her A-level results. She totally changed her life around, began to be more of the observer of her life rather than getting emotionally entangled in it all. And, you know, she's not just realizing that she's not responsible for anybody's happiness except her own. So this was really, you know, an amazing transformation. And she says, you know, before the one-on-one coaching program with Yasmin, I was suffering so much from negative chatter and self-limiting thoughts and beliefs, but also racing thoughts about the future, which led to many tears and depression. The program is amazing. Yasmin guided and encouraged me in her very special way. Now I feel much calmer, confident, happier, and well-balanced, and I'm looking forward to my future. And a newer client, and this was just sort of after a couple of weeks, she got in touch with me, and toxic people in her family as well. And, you know, she says, Yasmin's sessions have been totally transformational for me. From being a constant overthinker, I now see the beauty in pausing in my life, and my anxiety has reduced. So this was just even, you know, after a couple of weeks. So since starting meditation, I feel my whole body is calm and the fog in my head has reduced. I'm now able to tap into not only my physical body, but my intuition. And she as well, you know, she was already, you know, she amazed herself. She said to me, you know, just implementing healthy boundaries with, you know, toxic cousins and stuff like this, and really, really moving forward. So yes, this is my testimonials, and that's just a few of them. I'm going to put more on my website. It's a work in progress. So what I'd like to, you know, invite you today is on our first masterclass, I actually did a healing meditation, which actually takes quite a long time. So I'm going to put that up on my YouTube channel. So just for the moment, I just want to take a couple of minutes for us to practice a curiosity of breath meditation. And so if you'd like to just sit up straight, like we did at the beginning of my presentation, okay, and we're going to practice this. So I'd like to invite you to, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes. And if you feel more comfortable, then you can just lower your gaze. Okay. And if your mind wanders off, then just bring it back to the sensations of your breathing and my instructions. And this really helps to quieten the mind, helps you to, you know, focus on things that you choose to focus on. Okay, so if you just like to take a couple of deep breaths like we did at the beginning, so just inhale through your nose and just notice the sensations of the air in your nostrils, and on your own time, just exhale gently, slowly. Okay, so just do that one more time. So inhale, a deep breath in. Just notice how your chest rises. And exhale, and just bring your attention to your chest slowly, slowly falling again. Okay, allow your shoulders to relax and just breathe naturally right now. Don't try to change your breathing in any way. Okay, so just breathing naturally, and just notice the gentle rhythm of your chest rising and falling as you inhale and exhale. And just maybe notice the silence. Notice the rhythm of your chest rising and falling. Maybe you can tune into your heartbeat. Just notice any tension in your face, around your eyes or in your jaw. And just allow yourself to relax. And although meditation is relaxing, we sit up straight because it's really about having a relaxed awareness of our bodily sensations, our thoughts, connecting them. But if your mind wanders off, which is quite normal, just bring your focus of attention back to your breathing. Just notice the rhythm of your shoulders as you inhale and exhale. You may want to focus on the sensations of the air as it goes through your nostrils and the back of your throat. Notice where the inhale turns and pauses to become the exhale. Remember, you're where you are supposed to be right now. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. This is your special time, a time for you to replenish and relax and to feel well grounded. Okay, so just before we come to the end of this meditation, just wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, and just gently open your eyes and notice what you can see, what you can hear, and what you can feel. And just reflect upon what you noticed during the last few minutes. I don't know if anybody would be willing to share, if you're willing to just unmute yourself and share with us what you noticed that came up for you in the last few minutes. Yes, Amina, that was my first impression. When I first practiced that, and I noticed the silence, and what was really shocking, it was all the noise. It wasn't around me, it wasn't my environment, it was actually what was going on in my head and all the noise I was making in my head. Yeah, Sana, mashallah, you feel so relaxed, alhamdulillah. And barakallah fik, Amina, you rated a 10 on all those statements. Yes, and Safina as well. Yes, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So yes, yeah, don't fall asleep. Sana, she's yes, it does. It makes you feel very calm, and it realized that we are in control. We can quiet our mind. We can take those moments for ourselves, and that can be very liberating. Yes, yeah, I'm such an advocate for coaching. I truly believe I've invested thousands in coaching, and it's really, really benefited me. So alhamdulillah. So this is where you can reach me. I'm strong on LinkedIn and Facebook. I've got meditations and some talks on my YouTube channel. I'm not very strong on Instagram. So yes, find me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Feel free to DM me. Let me just see that couple of last messages. Yes, I do one-on-ones, but feel free to message me. But right now, Amina, she's going to take over again. I'm going to just stop sharing my screen. And Amina, I'm going to pass it over to you again so that you can pass on to Sana. Or shall I pass straight to Sana?
I think I have one slide to go from the body, mind, and soul. I just want to check where I am. Yeah.
Okay, so it's over to you, Amina.
Yes. I just have one slide before Sana. Body, mind, and once you feel better in your body, you can go to your thought and everything, and then because you are more aware and more, basically you can control a little more about what thought you want, to just observe and not digging into, you can go to your soul. And that's the most painful, but also the most impactful step of your healing journey. Managing the pain, the emotion, the feeling will be much easier. The mindfulness technique will help you to stay in control and not feel overwhelmed when you go through that. So that's when we will hear about Sanana. Yes, you can make her host and she will take over. Yes. I need to stop sharing.
Hello, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, so I will share my screen where.
Sorry, Amina, did you pass on the host? Okay, yes, okay, sorry.
Yes. Hello, assalamu alaikum, everyone. If you're still awake, but I think Yasmin did a very good job that she did that session. So we are all relaxed, we don't feel that we are in more than 1 hour. And I don't know how many of you were there in the last session. Are we the same people or there's still new people? You can just unmute yourself.
I think we have a mix of we have a mix of new people and people who attended last time.
Okay.
So yeah.
So as you already have been aware now of so many wounds that we all have, I mean, I wonder if somebody doesn't have a wound while growing up, it's not possible. And it's just that people are not aware of their own pain. And what Yasmin said, that, you know, the greater, like, you are aware of yourself and your body, you will realize some of the pains we don't even know they're happening. It's just when you come to that state of, you know, consciousness and awareness, you feel like, oh my God, it's like, you know, I feel a sensation in my hand, on my leg, I feel I have a pain in my back. But since we are so rushing and anxious, we never even realize the small little minor pains. But yeah, that's your way of your body to tell you that, hey, I need your attention. So we are moving from body to mind. And I would say that mind also can a lot be connected to your soul. So we can use it interchangeably. So I would be more talking in terms of the inner child and the soul, and how we can, you know, like all the pains, like wounds, where do they exist? Like, you know, that sometimes you don't even feel the pain because there's so much numbness. You only see a behavior. And because of the behavior, you understood there was a wound because there is no pain. So where is the pain? Because if there is a wound, there is a pain. And where is that pain? It's deep, and it's so deep that it's lying inside your soul. And since there's so much disconnection between yourself and different, you know, body, mind, and soul, that how would you talk to someone, right? I mean, when you have to use a phone, it has to be charged and it has to be upgraded before you can make a call, you know, like there should be a network, there should be charge, you know, and you should have a connection. So if any of the three things is missing, you cannot really make a call. So body and mind and soul are those kind of connections before you can really make a call and see what's happening, you know, to check your phone, okay, which message do I receive? But how would you see any message if there is no connection? And for myself, I would say that I'm your sister, Sana, and I have a small channel. It's with the name Talk with Sana, and on the Facebook, you can find me, Instagram as well. And I'm an NLP coach. I also studied hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, and I'm also a mental space psychologist. I have a diploma in mental space psychology. And it's because I really wanted to understand the wholeheartedness and the whole, you know, like the ecology of the system. You cannot really only work on the body, you cannot only work on the mind, and you cannot only work on the soul, because the connection will not be present. So we really need, you know, approach which covers all the aspects, and you can work in parallel or one after the other on the things, so that you can see the elephant in the real form. You know, it's like you're only holding a part of it and understanding, okay, this is my problem. But no, you really have to see the whole picture before you can say, okay, this is my problem. And some people, they don't even understand they have a problem. And, you know, it's just like Amina said, that we are bleeding on other people. Deep soul wounds, like some of the wounds are very visible. Like you will feel a lot of pain. You will feel very deep loneliness. You will feel that kind of emotion that nobody understands me. You will feel very difficult to make people understand what's happening inside you. Sometimes you don't even feel why you don't feel happy to be among people. And, you know, you feel like you still feel lonely even when you're around people. So it's very hard to communicate if there's that deep soul wound, if you're not aware of the pain is not present. But most of the time I feel that the pain is present or the behavior is present. Like all of these 5 wounds that we saw, either there is pain, deep pain, or there is a behavior present that you identified. Okay, I identified myself in 2 of the wounds. One was the rejection wound, another one was the humiliation wound. And to give you a little bit background about myself, I have a spatial dyslexia, which I didn't know. Growing up, I was just a clumsy child. I was dropping things. I couldn't pass through the doors. I couldn't judge the distance of the flight of the stairs. I was falling down. I could never catch the ball, or I could never put the things at the right place because the judgment of the distance, I didn't know where is my left and right. It was really a big decision. If somebody asked me where is my left and right, I never remember the directions. So it's like, how can others do it so easily? Why did it come so naturally to them? What is my problem? And then you see that kind of, it's not that your parents, they don't love you, but this is what they haven't expected as a child to arrive to them, but as an inner child or soul, you don't know, right? So there is like kind of rejection wound. And also I want to focus on your mind. So your mind is a meaning making machine. Since it arrived on this earth, it's always making meanings and deriving meanings. And how it derives meanings is very, very personal to every person. That's why your wounds, they won't be similar to other person. Your sensitivities are very, very different. You might agree, disagree, but the level or, where the wound is, it's very, very deeper and it's very personal to every person because the way your mind is making different meanings are very different how everyone is functioning. I think in the last session, I gave an example of one of the sisters who were in my coaching. And then for one of the emotions that we were releasing, or one of the problems she had was that she was stuttering as a child and she had a stammer. So my question was like, when did you decide that? How did you decide? She didn't have it by birth, like it developed after a few years. So when did the mind or the inner child decided to have that issue? And then when we checked in the sessions, like I do timeline therapy and all, where you can connect with your unconscious mind and it unfolds the events in front of you. So she said it was because I was among a lot of brothers and sisters and nobody really gave attention to what she has to say. It's like, okay, you just keep quiet. Okay, you don't know anything, So the unconscious mind or the inner child to grab that attention, develop the behavior, okay, she started stuttering. And that was the episode in her mind. So how did your mind make meanings? A lot of things, I would say, contradicting behaviors. If you pay attention that something you don't like and you found yourself doing it, something you didn't like in your parent, in your teacher, anyone you loved, and you found yourself doing it. That's your inner child, unconscious part of you that has learned and the meaning of what you learned as your conscious self. So the conscious self is an adult, same age as you, but the unconscious mind, that inner child, is still a child and is always making meanings. And the meaning that it derives need not necessarily be the meaning that as an adult you have taken. And that causes the contradiction in your behaviors. Amina, can I take your example? Is it okay?
Yes, you can. Yes,
okay.
yes.
Like Amina
I don't know which
that,
one, but because you have a
the
lot.
anger one. For example, like she grew up, like the father has a lot of anger issues. And then in one of the episodes, she found herself getting angry on the child and she had to consciously step back that this is not the behavior I wanted myself because this is what I didn't like. But your mind picks up as a child. It learns something else. You have no control over that inner child. And that is, I would say that how can we do that? By making connection with that inner child, by redefining the meanings that it has taken, by redefining the learnings. So you have that integration of your inner and outer self. So I would talk more about it. So I have a question I always love to ask, that are we humans having a spiritual experience or are we spiritual beings having a human experience? So as Muslim, we know that, that we are spiritual beings and we're having a human experience. And we are not human beings on a spiritual journey, we are spiritual beings on a human journey. And the soul, like how do we define soul? There's so many things. Like I think in Quran, it has been used like two different words, which is like nafs, and there's another word that's been used, and it's used sometimes interchangeably, sometimes to differentiate between two different components of your soul. So I would like to say that soul is really a compound of different elements. And one of them is really the celestial one that we're traveling inside this body. Another one is this nerves, that's really driving you towards dunya. And there is this inner child part, which is, that mind. So it's all so much connection that we have, we can't put a physical or a formula to it, but we can really say it as a compound of different elements that work together, that interconnectedness, that complexity of thing. And I'm very much against simplification because it deletes a lot of information. Like, we are always trying to simplify things. But the reality is we are complex beings. We are really complex systems. Like, our body is a system, and the amount of microbes which are living inside are more than the human cells that we have. So are we really, like the human system, or is the microbial system and we are existing inside? So it's like, the more you know, the less you know, the more I'm learning, the humble I became, that, okay, I do not know anything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, teach me more. And the same is like the complexity of the systems, that we have to understand that things are complex. We are complex. Human emotion is complex. Healing is a complex journey. It's just not something very simple or straightforward. And when we try to simplify things, we delete a lot of information, and that information which holds a vital, information about your problem. So the whys of simplification, but I will try to keep it complex and try to make you understand the wounds and the, what's happening deep inside our wounds. Some of the signs that I already explained, and some of them are more like, you feel a pain in the chest sometimes, that breathlessness, that heaviness, that brokenness. And I mean, you feel the weight of you is more than your real weight. Like, there's really weight on you. And that's weight is sitting from the pain, from the emotions. Like, sometimes you're not only the weight of your physical, there's so much more weight that people cannot see and only you can feel. And it's so hard even to describe it. Like, there are no words. And I said that people leave it there. It's okay, not to describe it, just to know. And I think if we don't even have this, how would we try to find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? There is always a reason. There are like complexities of the system, why he kept certain thing, that how would you just come and go and looking for me, like, okay. So for different things, it's like the soul is, sometimes there's a pain, so much of the urging of the soul that it's really looking for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yearning for Allah when it comes to the earth, and you just feel that pain all the time. And sometimes, like certain time of the day, I used to feel a lot at the time of Maghrib, that there's something fluttering inside me and it just wants to fly away. It's like, it's not my home. I just want to be back home. And I think mindfulness I have been doing for meditation certain period of time. I won't say it's very long, but less than a few years. That really helped me to feel myself, like feel at home in the body. I never felt home in my body. I felt like, okay, I'm caught in my body. And another signs are if you feel a lot of bitterness, negativity, sarcasm, apathy, unforgiveness. Like, unforgiveness really comes from the pain that, our soul holds. Like, why will not we forgive people, right? If it was so easy and simple, it's because of the pain that it's holding. And once that pain got, released through different procedures, or you're healing over the time, then that forgiveness comes automatically. So I will always say, people, don't force yourself to forgive people. It will come automatically to you. And even if you are like, understand that, I would say vulnerability into even not forgiving, that I'm not in a position right now to not forgive. It's not like I don't want to, I just can't. And that difference, if you're aware of it, it's okay. I'm on my process. The day I feel okay, I will forgive. Low self-esteem, low self, a lot of the times, like, you don't feel you deserve all the good and the rich thing. Like, okay, I deserve, all the bad things, and all the bad people come to me. I'm only attracting like all the negative things in my life. Signs of wounded inner child. Sometimes have you seen your parents behaving in a very childlike manner? The more they're aging, the more their inner child is appearing, and it's sometimes difficult to manage them. It's a lot because of their wounded inner child, because as an adult, they can just keep that mask on. But as you're aging in life, your coordination between your, inner and outer, it's also getting weaker. So they find hard to keep that mask on. And then they have those kind of outbursts or tantrums and, some episodes of just like the child has. And patterns of self-sabotage, immaturity, a lot of inner critic. Like when you have really harsh inner critic, it comes from the pain of the wounds, like, okay, if you have a rejection wound, you feel like, okay, I'm not good enough. And it's okay. That's why people reject me, because the problem is not in others, it's in me. I'm not good enough. I'm not important enough. I'm not whatever, not enough you can add in your own pain and wounds. Fear of abandonment, commitment. So I think it's the signs are really the signs that Amina said, so I won't really go through them all over again, but it's really all those wounds that you saw, they're all lying inside your soul. A lot of behaviors that we develop, we call it like coping mechanism, like the meaning that your soul derived, and then it behaves, okay? Then it has to behave because it learned something. And sometimes it will shock you that you are shocked by your own behavior or the words that you said. And I'm like, what happened to me? Why did I do that? So all those things are really coming from your inner child because of the wounds and the pain it's holding. And it's so hard, like sometimes even to let go, like this neediness will come, you find it so hard that you don't want to be abandoned. The inner child doesn't want to be abandoned. It wants to hold on to people, and then it will try to create certain situations so everyone stays, around you, and sometimes attention seeking, sometimes a lot of negative motivation. Like people achieve a lot because of this negative motivation that everyone is against me. I will prove to them. Everyone, like a lot of rejection wounds, you will get a lot of motivation and coping behavior into that victim mode, that you want to prove to people certain things because you're looking for that love, you're looking for that appreciation, you're looking for that recognition from certain people. And I would like to disappoint you here. You might not get it back from them because they're trying to prove it to them. They want to do something, not because of them, but they wanted to get something from those people which they didn't get. I mean, the wound is created by certain people, and the inner child wants them to come to them. It's like, I want the appreciation only from my mother or my father or XYZ. But I mean, to be honest, they didn't give a damn about you before. They might not give a damn about you now as well, even if you achieve the best of the world, So this is something that your adult mind has to understand, but your inner child will only understand if you connect, if you reparent, if you sit and you try to make it understand the new meanings and to let go of the old meanings that it has hold. So how can we heal our inner child? We really have to connect with that person, because I said that you have two conscious and unconscious part of you. You can call it your soul, mind, or that complex system which is all working together. And this inner child is really had a childlike age. But you are an adult now in your body. You understand the world. You understand everything, right? So you are the only one who can connect with your inner child. You can reparent, and you can make that integration between this child and the adult self. So you don't feel that contradiction, that splittingness. Sometimes you feel like, you might split into a number of people, or you're broken and there is no focus present. So there are different therapies, I would say. There are different ways, like mindfulness is one of the way. Meditation really helps you to bring that awareness to where the wound is, to where the pain is. You can let it pass. It helps a lot. Second is, if it's a lot of pain, if it has been a lot of trauma and there are a lot of behaviors that you identified, it's better to release the emotions through therapy, through, I would say, a lot of journaling. If people like to write, it's the best thing if you can release your emotions by writing, but there is a certain way and format and questions to ask that I can help you with. Therapy is, it really helps, like timeline therapy. And two things that I really like to use is the mental space psychology. It's, I would say, the least painful way to release that trauma, to release those emotions, to release those pain. And if Amina could say that still painful, and I'm saying it's the least painful way, then you can understand, like how much pain one person can hold in one lifetime. And why do we need healing? I mean, I would say that as people with problems with pain, it's very difficult to admit, but we have to understand that we become very selfish with our problems. Like our only focus is on our problems. Our only focus is on our pain. And our focus sometimes is in the victim mindset that, okay, why everything happens to me, it always do it to me, leave me alone, just leave, me and my problem. We fail to see the people around us. We're not present in the moment. We're not aware of what's happening around us. And then there are people, I mean, if your mother, you're a caregiver to little children, and sometimes you behave with them in a certain way that they don't deserve. They need a more present parent. They don't need to have, certain wounds because of the passing or generational wound, or because you were too busy with your pain. And our people around us, our adults, sometimes they need our help. But if we are too much in pain ourselves, what do we have to offer? If we just have pain, what are we going to offer to others? So for me, healing is so important. First, release your pain and emotions, and release that filter of the wounds, to see yourself, like, who am I? But how would you see yourself with those filter of pain, generational trauma, and wounds? What would you see? It's just like the background before, which is, I've put that zoom. What do you see? Hardly anything. It's just something blur. And that's what happens with our wounds and pains and unhealed trauma. We don't see what the things really are. And one of the example I would say, like when I released all my emotions, I just love biryani. I don't know if many people know, I love biryani. I'm obsessed. And after release of emotions, when I ate biryani, it didn't taste like that. I was like, what the hell is wrong? Because my emotional eating was gone. All that emotional stuff that I was feeding myself, because, I created a distraction that I would love cooking. I would love, eating different things, whatever junk, like another kind of system I had made for myself, just to distract myself from all the pain and things that I don't want to talk about, the problems that were not fixing in my life, the victim I was. Okay, my distraction was food, like I felt really great cooking and eating, and like I need something different, every meal. So it's up to you to see and be aware of the wounds. Where is the wound? Sometimes you won't feel the pain. It's only a behavior present, because pain is only what you will feel when you are connected with yourself. As I said, like the phone, if the connection, like one of the thing is missing, you cannot make the call. And I think we are already, I won't do the exercise, but I would love to take some questions from you. And one of the things is, like, you will see a lot of anger if the wounds present. And the anger could be passive. Okay, like, anger is bad. Like, I have seen my father to be, he was a very aggressive father. He loved us deeply, but there was so much anger in him, and we were like always shaking at home and hiding ourselves, like, okay, we should not make even a certain mistake to be at his receiving end, even if it was verbal, that verbal thing. We would like, I think my anxiety, one of the reasons was his anger, my anxiety issues. So I learned that anger was really bad thing. It affects people, it hurts people. So I would never, ever be angry. And I never was, but all that anger was inside me. So when I did release the emotion, I felt like, oh my God, the thing that you keep inside and inside and inside, and it's building. And it's building so much that it has made everything blur. I just can't see anyone because I'm just too busy holding all that. Myself is like so hard. I'm so heavy. I'm so tired of holding everything, all this anger, all this pain. It's like, just somebody take it away from me. I do not know how, if you could relate, but it's like, that our own vulnerabilities, our own pain, our own thing that we are fighting with ourselves, that fighting was so intense all the time. What if we just open ourselves to healing, just open ourselves to finding ways to connect with ourselves? So I think I really want to thank Amina that she thought of putting this together, and she thought that, okay, this is what is helping me, and this is what can help others. So it's up to you. Like, we saw so many wounds, we saw so many behaviors, we saw so many techniques, and each of them is so important for our healing, for our own wellness. And anger is one of the things. And I also wanted to say that I'm doing a workshop this Saturday about anger. And if any of you want to really explore deeply the anger, like what is behind that surface of anger, what is anger and why? It's like there is a fire in you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you not to use it. But why did he keep it? Like, there is a fire, but you have learned to use the fire at home, right? You're not scared of that fire. You cook, you make it warm. Why can't we do the same to ourselves? Why can't we just be at peace with our anger and just regulate it? That, okay, it's a normal emotion. I feel it. I'm not ashamed of it. It came. Why? And just explore the reasons why it came. And what can we do to release it? Could that be that simple? Instead of just closing the door to it, okay, I don't want to acknowledge that there's anger present. So if you want to know more information, I will share it, but I'll just share the poster right now. That it's called Deeply Exploring Our Anger. It's over the 3 weeks for 1 hour each. And if you want more details, you can ask Amna or me. And I am very happy to take any questions if you have for me. Stop sharing. I see 12 new messages. Okay. Is it online? Yeah, it is online. Yes. I have always been so scared of my anger too. Like, one of the time when my child was really upset, I wanted to like hit him or do something, but I didn't want it to hit him. So I just slapped myself, and I slapped myself so hard, and I was like, and he was looking at me, and I started laughing. Like, he didn't know what happened to mommy. He was still, I think 7 or 8 months something, but it was like, I needed a release of that emotion or that. And I didn't even know why I'm feeling as a young mother anger until I explored. I went deeper into anger, and you understand that as a young mother, it's because of so much, your emotions are varying. You have so much tiredness, like your brain can only use 40% of your energy to do the daily functions. And when your brain is functioning, it's producing milk, like your unconscious mind, and the purpose of your brain is to maintain your body. And it's busy taking care of yourself, doing every function. It's taking care of producing milk, not sleeping, not getting rest. What will happen? It ran out of battery, it ran out of energy. And then your coordination between your mind and then, that persona that you create, it's less. And when that coordination is less, your brain has less energy. That energy to hold on to the anger becomes very low. Like your threshold, it goes really low, and you start being angry. Like, at the time of periods, your brain is already doing a lot of things, right? Producing an egg, and it has to take care of everything. And then on top of it, you have to cook and clean and work and listen to the people. So what it does, okay, I have no more stamina for you. I will release some of the emotions, and that's just one of the reasons why you feel more anger at that time of the, cycle, or after pregnancy, or after your, deliver child. Yes, Tanzila, Amina is going to share with you all, and I will also share here if I can. Or I will ask Amna to share with you in the mail, of my workshop, which is happening.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat so people who can click on the link straight away, and you can send me that link again because when the workshop finish and when I send the email with the replay, I can add that in the email and in the text that people will receive after the workshop.
Okay,
we can do that as well. Yes. So that was Sana, which was the last, that was the last piece of my journey, we can say. And yes, it resonated a lot. Yes, if you have any question that's into that, we can go through that, or maybe I will go through the program first and we will see at the end if we didn't answer your question. I think that we might answer some on the way. So wouldn't be great to go through those 3 transformations, one after the others, but with a coach holding your hand all the way. And that would be great. I will just hide the panel so I will have my whole screen. Yeah. And that's why I created that program. It's not that I created that program, I was thinking to join all the 3 of us. What we do, we generally have our own clients. We have great results separately. And then I thought, but that would be a great gift for people to have actually the 3. It's not buy one, get one free. It would be buy one, get 2 free. So, and I really thought that that would be a way to do something good. Optimize your body to reclaim control of your mind and reconnect to your soul. And one of, when I wanted to create my website, tagline that I had under my name was treasure your body so your soul wants to remain there. And that's so true. When your body is not great, your soul can't be great either. And we created that course. We will create live, actually, to be more fair. The course is not created. We will do it live, 12 weeks to feed your body right, to rebalance your hormones, to increase energy, to understand your mind, to control your thought, to find peace, to heal your wounds. So basically that will be an holistic reboot program, start a new life without any mask. So you will just drop the mask. Obviously you will not drop the wound, but you will be able to move on despite the wound. So the course detail, it will be a comprehensive and progressive 12 weeks program with 3 phases, body, mind, and soul, with the three instructors, the 3 of us. So myself, wellness and nutrition coach. I have a level 2 in nutrition, level 2 in counseling and mentoring. Yasmin, mindfulness life coach, and Sana, emotional empowerment coach. I didn't put their degree and everything, but they have some. So I didn't put them here, sorry. The course will take place live once a week, starting probably from the first week of July, and there will be some bonus sessions in specific topics. When we go along the way, we might feel that, oh, we need something about that topic, and we will do some other stuff on the way. So the week 1 to 4 will be about mainly nutrition, hormones, and exercise, which is more physical and it's more easy to tackle. Then you will add the mind aspect to that, and then you will add the soul. And on every week, you will have 1 to 2 maximum easy steps or habits to implement weekly. So You will not, from one day to another, eating healthy, running a marathon every day, meditating for 2 hours. No, that's not. If you could do that, you don't need even us, basically. So that's not what we do. You would have some bonuses as well. I have created some exercise plan, a 12 weeks exercise plan that will rebalance all the hormone. Basically, this plan is 4 phases. So 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, because 21 days is the time for the cells to renew. And that plan was made by a doctor. I bought his course to rebalance the hormone, because what happened is, at the beginning, I was coaching people only with their nutrition. And because I was coaching mainly ladies, and almost all of them had problem with their hormones, I started to learn about hormones. I did buy a course to rebalance hormone. I didn't need it to myself, but I'm glad I did, because now I'm going through menopause. I'm glad I learned about hormones. And this course came with really targeted exercise to go through phases with your body. And all these exercises are only 15 minutes. So we can do it 3 times a week, 15 minutes, and it will rebalance your hormones and everything. But after 15 minutes, when you stop, if you don't have a shower straight away, particularly cold, your body will carry on exercising. Isn't it great? And there is even a 5-minute burnout that you can add the day of the week that you feel more energy and want to add that. I also created a 12-week meal plan, because some people want me to give them a plan, like what to eat or like menus or something. So I have that for people who want it, but there is a big disclaimer about meal plan that that's not for everyone, to be clear. It might be very good for a woman living alone. There is even the weekly shopping, so you can go do your shopping and you know what you will eat every day. If you have a big family, or if you live with someone cooking and it's not you in charge of cooking, that will be hard, because that will not be sustainable. And that's why generally I coach people without meal plan, because I teach them how to balance their food with what is available and with what they cook. So they are more empowered and they are more independent about that. But you will have the plan if it helps you. On top of that, you will have a body scan analysis if you don't live too far, or if you have a similar scale as mine. I will tell you how much fat, water, muscle you have, your body, the age of your body, belly fat, and things like that. You will also have a weekly follow-up for the 12 weeks of the program, and the daily feedback on each meal. Basically, every time you will have a meal, and if you send me the picture of your meal, I will tell you what is too much, what is not enough, and how to rebalance that for your need. I will not give the same advice to 2 ladies, depending on what is their hormone type, their body type. The advice will be bespoke. And that's why that course we can't take like 100 people. Obviously, I can't answer to 100 plates for lunch. So it's why we had to reduce that. And I did value that 600, because if I had to charge for each session, that would be even more than that. You will also have some gift from Sister Yasmin, inspirational journal, where you can actually journal, like Sana said, and it will really, really help you. And that's a very big book that you can feel along your journey. And another ebook called Regain Your Confidence, Composure and Self-Worth, helping Muslim women heal and thrive in difficult relationships, learn how to respond in a healthier, wiser way to challenging individuals, so that you can live in a happier and more fulfilling life. And you will also have 4 extra live meditation sessions for the weeks 9 to 12. Then how much? So if you had to count how much you would pay if you had to go to a nutritionist every week to have mindfulness or meditation with a professional, psychotherapy or deep healing with someone every week, each session is something between like 40 to 60 pounds. So that would be an average of 60 pounds, 600 pounds for the 12 weeks with a nutritionist, 400 pounds with a mindfulness instructor for 8 weeks. And if you were to go for deep healing or psychotherapy, NLP or something like that for 4 weeks, you would pay 200. So all of that would be just that without bonuses would be 1,200. And all this course, so if we recap what's inside, the 12 weeks to reboot the body through rebalancing nutrition and hormone, the 8 weeks to start practicing mindfulness, the 4 weeks to dig into yourself, heal your wounds and inner child, and all the bonuses that would be like more than even 2,000 pounds. So we will offer that to only 20 people, and we already have some people registered. So there is no more 20 spaces left. And after the 20th of July, the price will go up. So the price for this course, exceptionally, because we are doing it for the first time all together, the three of us, it will be £397, or 3 payment of 147 if you prefer like that. And what is the price of not healing and fixing yourself? I will not go through all of them because Sana already said about that, but basically when you don't fix yourself or you don't heal, you will feed unhealthy, hypocritical relationship. You will always feel stuck. You will not find the solution. And for my personal story is, as I said, I'm almost 47 now, and I started to heal like 2 years ago, roughly. I don't want my family to fix their childhood like I had to fix my childhood for 40 years and to be unhappy for 40 years. I don't want them to go through that. If they could start their adult life as a happy human being, that would be great. And that's why I heal myself, because I don't want my kids to go through everything I've been through, all the sugar craving, all this behavior that we have. You will spend a lot of money with one program here, one program there, and when you spend a lot of program, it's good because you always get something of all the program, but it will just fix one part of the car, and still the car will not be always working, because when you fix something, sometimes it's not adapted with something else anymore, and you always have to adjust everything. And that's why a holistic program is much, much better. And I just put that because that's one of the pictures that my son sent to me when he told me the price of his coaching, which was even more than what we are offering you today, for 1 month of coaching me. And it was only the nutrition, it was nothing else. But because we cook everything from scratch, I didn't pay that money in meals and food, and I didn't even pay a coach before. So I thought, oh, that's expensive, your stuff. And then he sent me that picture. If you think wellness is expensive, then try illness. And that's so true. You will spend a lot of money, a lot of time in your life, either fixing yourself to become again healthy and happy, either to stay happy and healthy if you are, either to fix yourself after you being sick. And sometimes what's the cost of losing a leg because of diabetes, eyesight, and what's the cost of having a divorce because you didn't cope with your own wounds, or you didn't recognize your child was going through something and then he went into gang or jail, or what's the price of that? I can't put a price on that. So you have 2 options now, two choices. Either you do nothing and you don't take advantage of this amazing opportunity to change and improve, which is 100% risk-free, because we have a 15-day money-back guarantee. If you think that's not for you, we will refund you. Yeah, there's no problem. Or you make this small step forward that will change your life forever and the life of the next generation. So this is the link where you can register and have even more information about the program. commit2fit.uk/register to program. That's where you can find many things about the program. And if you have any question, either now, either after, feel free to reach any of the 3 of us. And for people who stay until the end, I promised a gift. It's there. So that's commit2fit.uk again /gift. That's where you can download this book and this self-assessment.
Amina, sorry, can you put the link in the chat box to register?
Yes, I can type it. Yes, I can. Yes. And we were talking, if there is any question, feel free to either unmute, either in the chat. And yes, I will put the both link into the chat.
And I have a question for Sabah. I didn't understand your question, Sabah. If you can unmute yourself and say what you were saying.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is that the previous question I was asking? Is okay, so basically I exploded with some relatives who had harmed me in very bad ways, and it took me over 2 decades to question them. And the outcome was 6.5 years now, I've had a serious skin condition, which I'm having treatment from homeopathic remedies, and it goes away and it comes back. So what they've told me is that this is the outcome of you expressing your anger. But he also said to me that it's good to express your hurt and your anger, because if you keep everything bottled inside you, it can cause major diseases.
Yeah, actually, the disease that we say, it comes because of the unbottled, unresolved emotion inside the body. So it's not because of an outpour of one of the incident, but it's like what was happening in the body for the past 20 years. It has to also release, right? And how does the body release? In form of a disease. If we don't release our emotions in a channel way where, it doesn't harm us, it doesn't harm the other person, we can still be, disease-free, more healthy. But sometimes, like burst of angers is really coming from unresolved emotions and trauma, or sometimes we ignore what's happening inside us, and then all of a sudden it's poof, you explode.
Can I add to that as well? Sorry.
Yes, sure.
When we're stressed, we release a lot of hormones, and basically it's the hormones for the fight or flight response. And if we're not going to fight or flight, then what happens is those hormones become really damaging. They get stuck in our organs, and that's where the ill health comes from. Because if you're in danger, like, how we're in danger as in, you have a tiger chasing you, right? You don't need your immune system. You don't need your reproductive system. You don't need your digestive system. So these are the systems that really get damaged that when we're stressed. And it happens, over years and years and years. When I was really stressed, I used to, I said to my husband, I need to go to see the cardiologist. There's something wrong with me, something wrong with my heart. And the cardiologist would sort of say, say to my husband, there's nothing wrong with your wife's heart. Maybe you just need to have a bit of compassion to her. You dragged her from London to this country. But I suffered a lot of sort of side effects where, a doctor may diagnose you, the symptoms, but the root of it, is sometimes it is the stress. It's the stress that we, we're putting ourselves through, thinking and stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you, Yasmin. And also I want to add, like, there are more states in the body than only flight, and there's a freeze state.
Yes.
So the body can really, for me, it's freeze state. I don't know what to do. I become like numb, my mind freezes, my body freezes if somebody says something to me, or I feel like I'm in a stressed environment. And you could relate when I will say that sometimes you get like, you want to say things back to people, but you don't remember, you don't get the answer at that moment because you're frozen. And once your body is coming back to the state when it's, unfreeze self, it knows it's no more in danger. You want to go back to those people and confront them. Like, okay, now I have the answers. But it's just that your body slips into the frozen state. You're frozen. You don't know what to do. It's also like a shock state for your body.
So that happens
a lot of time.
Yeah, stress basically blocks everything. The only things that work well when we are stressed are the muscle of the thighs, so you can run very quickly if there is a bomb in your house, and the muscle of your arm as well to fight if there is needing. But you can't remember Pythagoras or something like that. You can't remember anything. That's not the time when, if I ask you something at that time, it will not come. And the problem is it will impact the weight loss. For some people, it will impact the weight as well, because the body will literally freeze everything. It's like you and your phone. I will take the phone again. If you don't have a lot of battery, your phone will naturally switch off all the less useful app, and it will basically, it will keep only the one that can call people in case. So your Facebook doesn't work anymore. Anything works because you just need to keep in case you need to call. And that's the same for the body. But if you stop digestion like 5 minutes, it's fine. But if you stop your digestion for hours every day, everything you eat will not be digested. So it means you don't take the vitamin, you don't get the vitamin, but you get the food. So it stays, and it accumulates. Or the other way around, you don't keep everything. Like me, I was not gaining weight before, despite everything I was eating. But so the good thing, that's a good thing. I could eat whatever I wanted. But when I had blood analysis, the doctor told me, but I'm not even sure it was blood. Maybe it was water that we analyzed, because there's nothing in it. you have lack of cholesterol. And the doctor told me, I'm not used to say lack of cholesterol. Lack of cholesterol, lack of iron, lack of sodium. And she told me, do you know what is sodium? That's salt. Eat. And then she said, and my mom was there with me that day, and she said, your blood results are the one of an anorexic girl. And my mom knows how I eat. She said to the doctor, but do you mean bulimic? Because she was thinking maybe the doctor made a confusion, and because she know I eat more like a bulimic than an anorexic. And she said, no. Her analyses are empty. And because I was not absorbing anything from my food, it was just going through. It's like if you eat wood. If I give you wood in powder, you would swallow it. Your body can't do anything with wood or little, for example, sand or something like that. It will go straight away to the stool without going through all the process of digestion. So yeah, and that's what we will do during the 12 weeks, learning about the different hormones and stuff. And some people, like you said, Yasmin, some people like to know how it works. Some people don't care about how the car works. As long as I put my key in and it goes, that's fine. And depending on the subject, I'm more like, I don't care how it works. For the car, I don't mind not knowing where my oil goes. I just put it on. But for some things, I like to know how it works because I can improve it when I know how it works. And that's the case for my body generally. And that's why I wanted to learn about hormones, and I wanted to help my client with hormones, even if I was coaching at the beginning only their nutrition. Yeah.
Just for that. Just one last question is, which body criteria does a person who is quite robotic fit into?
Sorry?
Which criteria does is the body type for a person who's quite robotic?
What do you mean in robotic? Sorry, I
So,
don't catch.
for example, if a person forces themselves to be in constant robotic mode because they don't have the right to feel, they just have to try to get on with life and fighting every obstacle. Which body category does that fit into?
I was talking, yes, about the stiff reaction. You know, there is no emotion like a robot. A robot doesn't feel emotion. It doesn't need hug. It doesn't need cuddle. It doesn't need nice word. It doesn't. You don't need to tell him please. Just do, and it will do what you ask. And that one, maybe try to connect a little more with emotion. And I'm guilty of that. As well, expressing emotion or receiving emotion always have been a big deal, but since I'm on my healing journey, I improved. I'm still far from where I want to be, but yes, I'm less of a robot now. And even my son told me I've changed a lot, and I try to understand more than like, oh, you don't have the same idea as me, I don't want even to talk to you. Yeah, the robotic is more as like a tortoise, how do you call it?
Shell.
Yeah. Can I
shell,
add
but
something to it? I would like
sure.
to also bring like attention to like it's a kind of disassociation with your body that your mind creates, that you disassociated to not feel the pain. A lot of people, it's like a dissociation from your own self to not feel the pain. Like your mind doesn't want you to feel the pain or think or create distraction. You just have that apathy, like I have to go on, and you know, you stop feeling the pain. So it's like a disassociation, I call it in terms of psychology, with your own body and yourself. And sometimes if you think yourself, you even see yourself doing things. You don't see it with your eyes, you see yourself doing things. You see yourself, you know, you can observe yourself as another person from another entity. That's a dissociation form that happens, and it happens a lot as a trauma response as a child whenever the wound happens. And I remember, like Sabah said, like when I was going through a very emotional period, I developed rosacea then. It was also a skin condition. But the first thing that comes as a like in the body is, it starts with the skin. That's what the doctors told me. Like when the emotions are long in the body, the first way it will hit you is first in the skin will change, or something will happen in the skin. And that's the first sign in the physical form.
Yeah, I question the doctors because they look at everything from a physical,
Yeah, they can
from
only
a
see
physical
it
point
as,
of view, which
yeah,
I
their
disagree with the
level. Yeah.
doctors. That's why I don't actually seek allopathic treatments in any form whatsoever. Subhanallah.
Yeah. So, but what Yasmin is doing is really great. If you manage the stress in the body with the mindfulness,
Sana, she's frozen.
Yeah, is it? No, it's not me.
like
Today
all
it's
my
not.
skin condition are in my body, and you have already done like therapy and release emotions, and if you're eating well, mindfulness helps a lot.
Well, I only eat organic and I eat very healthy. I exercise as well, and I'm not really big. I
Yeah.
have gained a few kilos, but I'm constantly trying to better myself in every aspect of my life. But it just seems like I just seem to be constantly struck, no matter how much I've tried to help myself throughout my journey. Like I see myself as a fighter, and I never give up on anything. But I have this repetitive pattern, or I keep falling back, and I just get myself up again, and I keep falling back. And people perceive me as very, very strong, which I am, alhamdulillah, but I'm also human. I am very empathetic to other people. I'm very loving to other people. But what's happened in my life is everyone's left me, every single person, even my own son. And I put it down to the test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how He wanted it for me to be. So I've accepted isolation. I've accepted that this is how the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote it down for me. And there must be some hair in this life or in the hereafter. I mean, but I'm also like very, very hard on myself. And that's why the robotic aspect comes in.
Yeah.
But then I can also be quite rigid when people hurt me or they're not nice to me. I will express myself, because I refuse to suppress anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's my right to express myself. But the rigid aspect is not the personality, the body type isn't totally me, because I'm very loving and caring, nurturing towards others. But these same people will hurt me again and again and again. And there's another aspect is I dislike weak people. I like people who will acknowledge their faults, their flaws, their emotional weaknesses, and challenge them and work through them. And so I find that the more you understand of the mind, body, and soul, the less friends you have, because you're on a different. You're almost perceived as like somebody who's always analyzing. I'm not always analyzing, but I'm aware of the different types of people around
but
me.
that's okay, Sabah. Like we don't need a lot of people. Like if you really want to work on yourself, and it's like you have to. I don't know about one of the Sufis, like if you have to want to be okay, you have to eat less, you have to speak less, and you have to meet less people for your soul, encouragement, nourishment of the soul. So meeting a lot of people who takes away all your energy is not good anyway. And if you're protecting and if you put up the boundaries, I would say very good. You meet them when you want to and when they're also ready, but you have to find your own tribe of the sisters who are there, and with that network of the sisters. Like I felt really alone. I have really made boundaries, and I'm okay. And somehow we have found a balance with that kind of family, which were gave me all those trauma and stress and everything. I'm okay with that, but I meet them when I want to, and that's okay. There's no more expectation from either side. They have accepted me over the time that okay, I'm not so much present for them as I used to, and I'm not willing to take everything that they used to tell me. But I think it takes time for the people also to accept the new you, right?
Yeah,
and to find the right friends, even if there's one person that you can talk to and connect.
I just want to add to that. It's almost like
so many of us can identify with Sabah.
It's like I've more or less given up on the world. I feel like there isn't anybody hardly. There's this one sister that I know that I talk to, and she's very beautiful, mashallah. But I find that unless people have gone through trauma themselves, they will never understand. But then I would never wish for anyone to go through the traumas that I've been through, subhanallah. And my traumas are so...
You know, you said about friends and stuff. Remember that the masks are not your personality. They are masks to hide the wounds. It's basically a dress up that your body and everything put in place. And when we have that rigid mask is because we have the wound of injustice. And I just want to repeat the thing that would help that wound, acknowledging our wound. I've never accepted that for a while, that I was wounded or something, for example. Accepting it and forgiving ourselves and others. Being in peace with authority. As I said, I had big problem with authority before that, like my dad, the government, even like the idea of a God, why should I obey someone or something like that? Recognizing that we sometimes are unfair and allowing us to be so, allowing ourselves to make mistakes and being indulgent toward ourselves and others, and allowing ourselves to have and express emotions and feelings. And when we go through healing and stuff, obviously we will lose some people. It's like a diamond. When you take an old rock and you want to make it as a diamond, it will go through a very hard process. And even iron, to be stained, it has to go through fire. And when it goes through fire, there will be some lost part in the process. But generally, when you go through healing, obviously you will lose some part, but generally what part are left are the people that are really connected to you and not the one that had only interest or something like that. You will keep the good one. But yes, we have to heal ourselves. And as long as we don't forgive ourselves, we don't love ourselves, there's no way we can find people loving us, because people are mirroring us. And if we don't respect ourselves, we are doormat for everyone. Obviously, people just brush their feet on us. But when you respect yourself and when you value yourself, obviously some people who don't want to value you, you will lose them. But people who are okay with valuing you will stay, and they will value you even more than before. And everything starts with ourselves. As I said, at one point I was saying that we always expect the people to change, but we need to change ourselves first. And once we do that, the things come back to like a jigsaw. The pieces will go together. Yeah.
I just want to add to that, Jazakallah khairan, sister, is that you know, you talked about earlier on about when there's the odd one out from like, for example, the family, and I consider myself very lucky in respect of I've been seeking to cure myself from the mental, and like for 2 decades now. And I see, for example, like my direct family, they haven't done that. We come from a broken family, and I see how I'm odd in respect of I always strive to better myself from, you know, with my traumas. And when I see them behaving the way that they do, I feel sorry for them. I feel love for them, but I also feel that they're always been blocking their emotions. So I feel as though I'm very lucky in that respect. Sorry, I keep repeating myself. Is that to be able to have been guided to heal myself always, and to get out of this, because there's always room for improvement and to better yourself. And acknowledgement is the greatest. First, acknowledge that you have flaws. Is not easy sometimes, and it's taken a lot.
Yes, and because it's not easy, not everyone is ready to do it, and not everyone is ready to do it now. Maybe they can do it after a big event in their life or whatever. If I came across maybe Yasmin and Sana maybe 5 years ago, I wouldn't be able to go through that journey. I was not strong enough. It's like a muscle, basically. If you don't have a lot of muscle, you can't carry a big bar like with a lot of kilo. You need to strengthen your muscle before. And that's the same for emotional. I couldn't go through the exercise I'm doing with Sana. I would have never been able to do it if I haven't been through the mindfulness before. And if like 5 years ago, when I was all dirty inside, not eating junk, I was not eating that much junk, but I was eating not balanced at all. My gut were not balanced at all. The exercise I would have done with Sana would have made me hate her, maybe killed her, or I don't know what would have happened. But the session, sometimes when we are in the session with Sana, I try to think, oh, if I was the Amina of 5 years ago, I would never be able to cope with this world, with this activity. I would never be able to go through that. Now I can go through that, and I can see that over me. So I can see like the snake. I have left a part, like a skin behind. One part of my body is behind already. I'm another person. And yes, my family is the same. My brother, my sister, my dad, they haven't healed anything. They haven't been, my brother and sister haven't been through everything I have been through. My dad has actually, but they haven't healed. They haven't even desired to heal at one point or something. So I try to change that, but I realize that I can't change, and that's not in my power. So I accepted that, and I did forgive to my dad a lot. And I want to move on. If he doesn't want to move on, that's his choice, and that's my choice to not stay on the same level anymore. By the way, I haven't talked to him since 2002, 2003. He never accepted my scarf anyway. So my kids don't know him. They ask about him a lot. And I actually plan, after talking to Sana, I wrote a letter. It's in the 22nd of April. It's still in my diary. I haven't sent it yet. But we plan to go to France. And actually, I plan to go in his town and try to figure out if I can meet him or something. But I will go very detached of the result. He wants to move on, that's fine. But if he wants to, for example, insult me or insult my new life or whatever, that's a no for me. That's fine. I completely agree and accept that he doesn't like Islam. It's his right. He doesn't like the way I chose my life. It's his right to not love that. Before I would not even accept that, but now I accept that. But either we can go on together, either we can, like, I will not move on a lot, and that's it. And yes, not everyone move and heal at the same time and stuff. Yeah.
I was gonna say, sister, I remember you from Acton Mustard because we did a course together 6 years ago. And I remember I was very ill, and you helped me with notes. And I just want to thank you once again, Jazakallah khair, because when I saw your name, I had this smile on my face because I remembered you, mashallah. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, wow, thank you. Yes.
Alhamdulillah. I think as well it's about being conscious or unconscious. And Sana, she touched on this as well. It's like we are conscious because we want to heal, right? And the people that are unconscious, and you can almost put them into two categories. The ones that are conscious and the ones that are unconscious. And this is why my specialty is helping women who've experienced difficult relationships, because I've been married 28 years and I'm still married. I'm the conscious one, but he's still very much unconscious. But because I'm so tuned in with myself, it's actually fine with me. Like, it doesn't affect me the way that he used to, because I'm very comfortable with who I am. I'm totally accepting of who I am. I've got realistic expectations, and it just helps it all really work. It does. I don't rely on him for my happiness, where before I did. And I'm just totally responsible for myself, my emotions, and how I want to feel. And that's what's liberating. And that's the difference between people really that are conscious and people that really just not conscious. They're not interested to heal.
Mashallah.
People who are not conscious or not ready, you can just drop a seed once in a while, and one day eventually one will open and will grow, but you never know if it will, and you never know when. And if what they do is too harming for you, of course you have to protect yourself and stay away. But if what they do is not harming you, but you are not on the same level, obviously you will not meet them as often as before, and that's completely fine. That's their journey. One day they will come back and maybe move on the same path as you. But the more we accept others, the more we accept ourselves, the more, basically the happier we are, the more we attract people, because when we are not happy, we don't attract people, good or bad, actually. We don't, we might actually attract the bad one who can use us. Yeah.
Jazakallah answer to that is that all of this stems from childhood, is when a person feels that they're not worthy of being loved. And if a child has been rejected, unwanted, abused psychologically, emotionally, physically, and then so they go on to project that energy that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. And so I suppose that's why you attract certain types of people who are sometimes needy, and they will tap into your softness and take it as a weakness and abuse you and try to take advantage of you. SubhanAllah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so I've taken a lot of your time, sister, so please forgive me for that.
Yeah, no problem.
I think your questions were very valid, and like we can all relate to it, like all of them, all of us who are on the healing journey. And I think everyone is still here, so you don't have to say sorry.
Yeah.
That's just me feeling guilty.
For you, I would say that Sabah, therapy can really help, because that contradiction and that pain, you can release through it. And then to minimize the stress, mindfulness is the A game. I always say that if you have to know yourself, if you have to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, know yourself. And to know yourself, I think we all read Quran, we all pray, but the way you will connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in meditation, I don't feel any other way, which is more beautiful than this.
Sorry, I need to ask a question. How does meditation and having connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in respect of meditation is a separate technique in itself? So are you saying that calms the body and therefore you have a greater connection?
Okay, it's
like the awareness that mindfulness brings to the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your life. Like you see things for who they are, you taste, like, for example, if I ask you, what did you eat today? Did you first bite it with which teeth, and did you move it to which side of your mouth, and did you gulp it first, or you taste it first, or which part of the tongue it was? You have no idea about it, right? It's like the mindfulness bring awareness to really depth of you. And once you go deeper inside of you, and you meet Allah there in the depths. That,
okay,
oh
so
my
I
God,
think
like
what,
when you taste the fruit.
I think what I'm capturing from that is that your 5 senses become more stimulated.
But in a very healthy way, though. It's not, it's not that it's going to overwhelm you.
I feel like alive. Oh my God, even when I ate like fruit and something, and I taste or I sense, and I am so, like, I do the gratitude in a very, it's not a traditional way of saying gratitude, but really from the heart and the soul, I'm really grateful in that moment.
Yeah, and as well, like I found the more I practiced mindfulness meditation, the more I could connect it with our beautiful deen and our spirituality. And so what happened when I was meditating, because meditation was really practiced by our dear Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I did discover that it's deeply rooted in our beautiful deen in Islamic tradition, is moments of solitude. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did practice moments of silence and solitude, and it's that time that allows us, with no distractions, to connect with ourselves and contemplate and reflect and ponder. So whether that's on our food, on our breathing, on nature, we're like retraining our brain. And what I discovered is, if I can sit still, which was very, very challenging for me in the beginning because of my stress, I couldn't sit still. My stress did not let me sit still. I
couldn't sit for 1 minute in the beginning.
No, I couldn't sit still. And now, I can sit and meditate, and I'm very comfortable with that. And it's actually the practice ground for our prayer. So, we're meditating, and like I've decided the focus of attention is going to be maybe on sounds or a candle or my breath, because alhamdulillah, our breath is always there. That's why we focus on our breath, because it's just something to connect, something very easy to connect with. But when my mind wanders, I am able to notice that and bring it back again. And so this is what happened in my prayer. This is why now, because I'm more focused in my prayer, I feel that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is just, honestly, that has just been like, it was a byproduct. Yes, the mindfulness meditation, it helped me to reduce stress, anxiety, overthinking, you know, just feeling that, I had that feeling of everybody taking chunks out of me. Now I just feel like so well grounded. I feel so connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I feel, I notice that I'm always talking to Allah, even, you know, when I go to sleep. And, you know, where before, like if you've got an overthinking mind, that's an overthinking mind. It's not thinking about Allah. It's not connecting with people and the things that really matter. It just allows you to just sort of slow down without it detriment, you know, without it being detrimental to your productivity or efficiency, not at all, because you're able to sort of focus on one thing rather than multitask. So, you know, there are many myths about mindfulness meditation, but it's a very beautiful practice. It really is. Alhamdulillah, has many benefits.
I couldn't recommend it enough, like, to people, and I use a lot as well in my coaching and stuff.
I just want to say that the way I found how to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a greater level was to learn the translation of the word by word in Salah, and that's really helped me, alhamdulillah. It was with Iqbal Naseem.
It's beautiful,
and he's
as
a
well,
great teacher.
That's also mindfulness, right? You know what you're saying, you know the word, you're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're aware of what you say.
Alhamdulillah. I have I got a lovely webinar on my YouTube channel, and it's mindfulness and my mindful blissful prayer, khushu' and prayer, something. It's got that sort of title. So yeah, khushu' and mindfulness, my mindful blissful prayer, something like that. So yeah, that's really sort of giving my insight of what my part of my prayer and how I found the connection.
Just one last question. Once we join this coursework, will we have interaction with other class fellows?
I think it will be like a little like now. I think it will be like a live course. We will have some, each of us will have some content, and there will be a live course. Yes. And I think it will be like that, and it will be recorded, and then it will be a course that will be available as a recorded version. But the first, and it's why we can do only 20, because it will be live, and I will have to coach all the plates of everyone, so I can't receive 300 plates lunch and dinners. But the first time will be like that, yes.
No, because I think the question I having, which I don't think you've understood, sorry sister, unless I've missed something, is that will there be like a WhatsApp group or Telegram group where we can have interaction with other sisters who are participating in the course?
Yes, we will have. There will be a membership portal where everyone can access the course, and yes, we will have contact with each other. Probably, yes.
Oh, that'd be great, inshallah.
Yeah, I think a WhatsApp will be good also. Yeah.
WhatsApp, or we will adapt with what people have. If all the ladies don't have WhatsApp, for example, but they have Telegram, we might go on Telegram. If they all have, we will see what people have, and we will arrange.
Inshallah, last question, because I know your time is limited, because it's Salah time as well. Is will we have lifetime access to the recordings, or will it be limited period?
No, I think I will leave it lifetime. Because I really enjoyed the course, because I spent thousands of pounds in different courses, and I really love the fact that I can access lifetime, because, you know, after 2-3 years, you might want to go through all the same process again, but you go with a different angle, and that's nice for me to know that we can go through that again. All the marketing classes that I had, over whatever course that I had, yes, I think I will leave it like lifetime. People will have access lifetime. I wanted to answer to Siti Fatima Ahmed. She said that regarding the thought, I am facing irrelevant negative thoughts. Sometimes I feel superior than others, and sometimes inferior to others. When we practice mind, body, and soul, would it help me balancing the feeling of self-esteem and fighting feeling of ignorance and humiliation? That will definitely help, because the day you feel inferior or superior probably comes from who you are with, maybe what you ate, the state of your gut, which means the state of your brain. And you will also learn how to be more, maybe more, how do you call it? Not subjective, but more fair. Like, you don't feel superior, but if you do something better than me, that's not feeling superior, but you can say, oh, I'm doing that better than you. That's not being superior. Yes, that's acknowledgement that you are better than me for that field. And feeling inferior is not beating yourself. If you feel you are inferior in IT, in whatever field it is, that's good to acknowledge that you might need a little of progress. So where can you find support for that? And you will learn how to manage all this, yes. Yeah. And someone asked me, maybe it's more for you, Yasmin, how you can start improving on meditation. It's hard to focus. And I just said that you have methods to progress through that, but maybe you want to tell me a little more about that.
Yes, you can go to my YouTube channel and try out a 5-minute curiosity of breath meditation. I would sort of start there. Yeah. There's another video I have, which is about understanding what mindfulness is, meditation, mindfulness-based stress reduction. So I made a video about that as well. So that would be a good starting point. Any more questions, then just DM me, that's fine.
And I remember that with Yasmin, that was great, that we went through neutral meditation or feelings or stuff, so it doesn't hurt, it doesn't bring all the garbage that we were digging down a lot and burying. But once we are stronger with our thought and with our ourselves, we can start taking that old garbage inside and start to clean all that. And I remember that, yes, when we had the last session of the course together with Yasmin, I remember thinking, oh, I'm glad she didn't start with that, because that would have been so painful. And we didn't have the weapon. I don't know the name in English of that weapon that you put here, you know, the shield, I think. Yeah. Shield. We didn't have that shield, but then once you have a shield, you can go through something else. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's a step-by-step process. It really, we don't, isn't it? I mean, we don't do week 7 at week 2 because it just wouldn't work. You have to go through the process and the different steps, and it's amazing how it all just sort of fits in with each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we will cut there. We thought it would be 1 hour plus questions, but yeah. So
but today is more interactive, so we welcome.
Yes. It was more interactive, and yes, everyone who even didn't attend or something will have a recording, and even people who attended might have missed something, and that would be nice to have a recording as well. Yes.
Sister, how do we continue with this journey? I mean, is there follow-ups and things to attend?
You mean, after the 12 weeks, you mean?
Yes. I missed the beginning, so I'm not quite sure how you started. Can I get the recording for today so I can listen to it? And then...
Yes. If you registered on the to attend today, I don't know how you. Okay, so because some people, if someone just gave you the link to the meeting, I don't have you are not registered. But if you registered through the page with the / Soul Wounds workshop, basically, if you registered
I got an email, so I think I may be already.
Okay, so if you already had an email or a text from me, it means you are registered, and all these registered people will get an email with the recording and the link to register to the program. But yes, the program is 12 weeks, so you will go through the body, then the soul, then the mind. We didn't even plan about after that yet, but we might create something after, or maybe you might want to go to a spatial journey on something more particular to you. But these 12 weeks will definitely be a very, very good startup. It's like, I think what I've done over 3 years would be like summarizing these 12 weeks progress, like holistic stuff.
But I mean, most of my clients typically experience transformation in anything as short as sort of 2 weeks to sort of 5 weeks. So
and personally, just eating better, after 2-3 days, I felt much better. No slump and stuff. And that's why after 2-3 days, I started to talk to everyone, just changing that in few days. And after a few months, it was 12 kilo drop, 10 kilo dropped. But yes, it changed a lot. And sometimes, as I said, we eat healthy, but not balanced, and we don't really know what our body needs. But once you give your body what it needs, it stops holding on what it doesn't need, which is the fat, and it will release what it doesn't need. And same for the emotion, and same for even relationship. You know, girls who are very self-confident, if they are with someone who is little abusive in their word, in their behavior, they don't want to stay with that guy. But if that same girl is so insecure and she has nothing else, she preferred to stay with that bad guy to not be alone. And that's the same for everything. Once you have everything within.
There's an example I'm going to give me for quoting me when she was saying for my, like the fat, how long it will hold on to the bad people inside, when it has everything, it's confident inside your gut, it gets the right thing, right love, nurtured, it will release all the fat.
Yes, Sabah, for the food, basically the rules are roughly the same for everyone. The basics are the same, but then the portion and the need will be adapted to everyone. So that will be more like a bespoke program, basically. Yes. Link to register. Maybe I type it too quickly. The link to register to program, because I typed it, I didn't paste it, so maybe I type it too quickly. To fit.
Anyway, Minnie, you're going to be emailing everybody with the...
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Slides.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the 12-week program that you've just mentioned? How does it work?
Saying after that, like a follow-ups or something.
So sorry?
Yeah, I think, Sana, did you speak then? Because it was broken up a little bit.
I think Fatma is asking that there'll be a second batch after this first batch. And so I said that maybe we will have a support group or something, or a second one. We will see how the first one goes.
Membership. Yes, I was thinking, and that portal where people will have access to a portal once they join the program. It's a portal with a membership, and I was thinking to keep that membership, and probably that membership will grow and grow and grow. But later on, when it will be very big and there will be a lot of material, some people, I was thinking later on, people will be charged for that membership, but people who join early will have like as a gift, as a, like a, do you call it founder people, they would stay and have access to that. I hope the link I put work now. I'm not sure. Maybe when we type like that, it doesn't work. Oh, thank you, Walia. Thank you. Really great that you. Walia, are you registered? Did you receive the emails and the text from me or not? Because I can see your email address. If you are not registered, I need to add that. If you're registered, you will get the recording anyway. Yes.
Okay, and I'm not sure who.
Oh yes, okay, great.
Yes, I'm not sure who. Somebody asked, because I think Sana was talking at the same time as somebody else. So it was just briefly, how does the 12 weeks work? So Amina will be with everybody for the whole 12 weeks, but the first 4 weeks with Amina is really about her sharing with you her top tips and techniques about nutrition and balanced diet, and coaching your plates. Amina will coach your plates for the whole 12 weeks. Until you know what is the best thing to have on your plate as an individual. And then, so weeks 5 to 9, I will be with everybody teaching you mindfulness and meditation tools and techniques, and my strategy. And then the weeks between, then the last 4 weeks will be with Sana. So the deeper dive into the soul and the healing. And like I said, Amina will be with you the whole 4 weeks. I will be with you for like the last 8 weeks. The first 4 weeks would, we'd just be doing mindfulness meditation. And then the last 4 weeks, when you're with Sana, I will be doing a personalized meditation with you.
Sister, when does it start? When does the program start?
I think we will start beginning of July. We haven't decided what day of the week and what week. I think we will just have a meeting with everyone who registered, and we'll try to accommodate people who registered. There's no point saying it will be every Tuesday at 10 if all the 20 people are not available on a Tuesday, for example. So it will be probably, yes, beginning of July. Like for you will go through that the summer and then the month of September.
Yeah. How much is, if you don't mind, how much is it the 12-week costing?
Oh, sorry, maybe you missed that, but in the recording you will see all the slides, and I can share again. The 12 weeks program is 397 pounds, or you can pay 3 times 147. Sorry, me and my English and the figures, it's not that great. Yeah, share screen, it's there.
I mean, some of us work full time. So what kind of timings do you have?
again, we will accommodate if everyone works during the day. If everyone is happy to have evening, we will do evening or Saturday. If everyone is available on a Monday, we might do a Monday. Yeah. So I don't know. We will see with the people who already registered with the next one, and because it will start beginning of July. I think we will stop the registration probably the first week of July and then start the week after, and we will see with everyone what.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying that we will not be able to keep everybody happy. And that's just the nature of life. I mean, I got one of my groups on Thursday evening. I got another group on Saturday morning. And that's, you know, sometimes that's just what works well. Sometimes, you know, one member of my Saturday group is going to be really busy, and I'll send her the recording where she'll just catch up the next day. So, you know, life happens and stuff, but we will try to accommodate as many people as possible, inshallah.
Yeah, we will accommodate, and there will be the recording and all the exercise and everything will be made available. Yes.
Okay.
So I think it's time to do
yes, we need to break.
And yes. So if you have any more questions, feel free to reply to any email or text, and we will get in touch all together. Sorry, there was a message that said which day I may be traveling next week. We will not start next week for sure. It will be beginning of July. I don't know what day we will start, but yes, like
can I just ask, once you able to join another class, if you can do it another time, or does it have to be fixed on a particular day?
It's probably better fixed. I'm not sure.
I think we will choose a time and a date, for example, Tuesday 10 a.m. and it will be that Tuesday, Tuesday 10 a.m. for like all the week. But because we are 3 coaches, maybe my session will be the Tuesday at 10 a.m. because everyone can do at that time, and it might be another day at another time for the live session with Yasmin. Honestly, we will see with people who registered, but we will try to accommodate most people, and it will be only 20 maximum, just because we really wanted everyone to experience something good. Because if we accept 100 people, obviously the relationship will not be that nice. Yeah, particularly for a live one and the first one.
I just have one question. Sorry, I think you misunderstood my questions, sister. Is that I may be traveling, and so I was concerned is that if I do end up traveling on the 4th of July, would it be possible that my place be kept for the following coursework?
Which following course? Sorry.
Like, you know, when you have the next course after the 12 weeks.
After the 12 weeks, I think because it will be recorded, people who want that course will just pay the course and will have access to all the recorded on demand without us being live.
Okay, so you won't be repeating this course again?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think we could promise, because life happens. So I don't think we could promise to do that. Yeah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah.
Yeah, and even in travel, because it will be maximum 1 hour and it will be once a week, I will be traveling as well. I will be traveling twice this summer. But I will, whatever day we decide, wherever I am, I will find a place, in a quiet place with internet, to deliver the course and to do that. Even for the course where I am a student, not the teacher, because traveling, we have internet almost everywhere now. So yes, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to just stop recording, Amina.
Yes.
It's going to be a very, very heavy